From the WinBet studio, win with WinBet. WGFX Gallatin, Nashville. The Titans and the Colts. Kickoff is Sunday at noon on your home for Titans football. Trending now at 104.5 The Zone.
It is 6 o'clock. Good morning. I'm Jonathan Schaefer. Atlanta defeated Arizona yesterday 6-1 in Major League Baseball. Austin Riley in his 30th home run of the season.
1-2 pitch. There is a drive to deep left center field. He just knocked that ball out. Wow! Austin Riley about 20 rows deep over the left field wall, and it's 2-0 Braves.
Insert Brockmeyer joke here. The Braves maintain their 3-game lead in the NL East. The boys in gold in action tonight as Nashville SC travels to enter Miami CF. Nashville is in second place in the Eastern Conference, 3 points ahead of New York City FC and Orlando SC. Kickoff set for 6:30. And the SEC schedule for next year, 2022. The football schedule is out. It was released yesterday. The Vols will have a 3-game stretch where they host Florida on September 24th, travel to Death Valley to take on LSU on October 8th, and host Alabama on October 15th. Oof. Meanwhile, 3 of their last 4 games will be on the road, starting with a trip to Georgia. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Do I have everybody's attention now?
Now it's time for Jason Martin and Vol for Life Ramon Foster.
Powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors.
Together, they are JMart and Ramon on 104.5 The Zone.
What's happening? Welcome into Scout Meeting Wednesday on JMart and Ramon. Turning the page from the Hawks to the Colts. Along with 11-year NFL veteran Vol for Life Ramon Foster and Jonathan Schaefer. I'm Jason Martin at Ramon Foster at Schaefer on Sports at JMart Radio at JMart and Ramon. Loaded to bear today. Scout Meeting Wednesday. We'll look at the offense in the next segment. We'll look at the defense to open the third hour. We'll bring in Rhett Bryan of Titans Radio in the fourth hour and talk all things Colts and where the Titans find themselves. Brad Crawford will join us at 7:20 to talk college football, specifically SEC football from 24/7 Sports. Mike Tanier, our guy from Football Outsiders, will join us in the third hour of the show.
Can we call Tanier Tanny? No, there's only one Tanny. That's Tanny Hill. Never mind.
I did hear Tanny, as in Tannenbaum, who's now turned the 33rd team into a serious property, I believe.
Really?
In terms of a radio property and bringing some things through satellite radio and podcasting. But Tannenbaum said about your boy Roethlisberger, who's now injured with the pec. He said, this made no sense from the beginning. The reason that I was down on the Steelers is because they lost 3 offensive linemen. And once you do that, you have to move on from the quarterback. If you were bringing everybody back for one more ride, okay.
Yeah.
But DeCastro, Pounce, and Ollie all leaving, then you have to turn the page from the quarterback because you're putting him behind guys he doesn't even trust, and you're just asking for a bad season.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So, okay, the Tannenbaum. Now we get the real him when he's speaking like this instead of the ESPN.
Well, this was on TV.
Oh.
He said this on ESPN.
Okay.
But this makes all the sense in the world. Like, that makes perfect sense. And he said, another thing he said was you have a game manager right now basically as your quarterback.
Yeah.
But the Steelers don't run a game manager offense because you have to be able to run the ball to be a game manager and a ball control offense, and they can't do that right now. Not because of Najee, but because of the offensive line.
Yeah, Ben going down really takes my pick of putting them third in the AFC North. Kind of true.
I don't know how hurt he is, but I do know he's old.
But it's a peck, though. I mean, even if
he said he didn't know how it happened.
Yeah, I saw how it happened. I've been getting people at me for the last 3 days, man. I love my guys. And, I don't really like to talk bad about my guys or anybody like that, just being real. But watching that young group block for him, as Tannenbaum said, Jay, it's highly disrespectful, really. there's been a few things. There's been two things I've always done since high school. If my running back's running, I'm going to pick him up. You see me on film all the time. I might be 5'2" slow, but I'm first on the scene. How does that make sense? It just does, okay? I'm always there to pick up my running back. Always. Shafe, you've watched a few games, right?
Yeah, he's seen a few.
He's seen a few Pittsburgh games. I'm always there to pick up my running back.
Basically saw your entire career.
There it is. But you saw me picking up my running back.
Fact.
All the time. If my quarterback was on the ground, whether he was scrambling or whether it was my fault.
Shut up, Jay.
I'm there to pick him up. And not just that group, but I've seen across the league a bunch of guys leave their quarterbacks down on the ground. But the way Ben got hit this past weekend, you almost got to get him a gift card to Starbucks, man. Hey, I'm sorry for what we let happen to you. And yeah, you're going to get got every once in a while. But again, there's a lot of we're finding out as we continue this season in particular, a lot of bad O-line play across the league. But that group, the team in Pittsburgh, man, they really got to bring it in together if they're going to compete. That's the thing we spoke about all weekend, all offseason is the AFC is going to be wild style, which is even more important why the Titans got to do what they got to this weekend. But to Tannenbaum's point about if you got a fully new O-line, you bring in a new guy. But this is the thing about 7. When it comes down
bigger
to
than 6, but
yes.
not as big as 8.
Hey, somewhere in the middle. So I'm gonna call this lucky. Tom Brady got 7 rings, but hey, nobody's counting. I did.
Snow White has 7 dwarves.
Hey, you got one, Shafe?
I'm sitting there thinking about it.
Nope.
You got.
John Elway is number 7.
He is. Mike Vick was number 7.
That's right.
Jackpot is 7s in Vegas.
Jackpot is 7.
7 is the complete number. It's the number of completion.
There it is. But
7th heaven.
7th heaven. 7-11.
No doubt. Slurpees.
Boozy Slurpees.
Exactly. We don't have that privilege out in Humble Henderson.
Nah, Kayla can take care of that.
All right.
Give us your best 7 references on the YouTube chat right now.
Best 7 references.
Zone TV, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook Live, so where you can find us. All right, go ahead.
All right, but that point about Ben, he's going to go down 10 toes in the ground. He wanted to send off. I just hope that group get it together because that is embarrassing, man. I will say that. I hadn't even talked to the guys. But I know some of the old heads, me, Pounce, Dave, and Al, we had a conversation about that this last couple of days, though.
We did our top 7, bottom 3 yesterday. We'll do that every Tuesday, but let's recap it real quick.
Can we do the hours and then do what ESPN did too?
Sure.
Well, they put out their power rankings.
I mean, everybody puts out a power ranking. I can give you the
Wednesday.
ringers. I can give you the ringers as well.
Yeah, and just to see how far.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So at 7, I had Cleveland.
I had the Raiders.
Yeah, I think both of you had the Raiders, if I'm not mistaken.
Uh-huh.
Number 6, I had San Fran.
I got San Fran also.
Number 5, I had Baltimore.
Carolina.
Yeah. Both Schaefer had Baltimore 5 as well. I can't remember who he had at 6.
I don't remember.
4, I had the Raiders. You had Arizona, right?
No, 4, I got KC.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think you both had Kansas City at 4. I had Kansas City at 3. You had Arizona at 3, right? I didn't have them in the top 7.
I had Arizona at 3.
Rams 2, Tampa 1.
Rams 2, Tampa 1.
Okay.
Shafe had Vegas, Buffalo,
that's the one.
Baltimore. 5 for him.
That's the one.
And that was right all the way across. All right, ESPN's top 7 goes Arizona. They went Arizona 7. Seattle at 6. Buffalo at 5. San Francisco at 4. Kansas City at 3. Rams at 2. And number 1 is the Bucks. That was ESPN's power ranking for this
Kansas City, Rams, Tampa, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I had. Where did they have the Raiders? Did you mention them or no?
Raiders aren't in their top 7.
Okay.
Raiders are actually 10.
Okay.
Surprising, I actually saw a CBS list too. I'll give you the Titans ranking from ESPN and CBS. Tennessee is 16th in the ESPN power ranking, and they were 16th also in the CBS power
Ringer
ranking.
has them 10th.
Ringer has the Titans 10.
They're 10 from 10 to 1 would be the Titans. They've got the Raiders at 9, the Cardinals at 8, the Niners at 7, the Chiefs at 6.
Chiefs at
The Ravens at 5, the Bills at 4, the Browns at 3, the Rams at 2, the Bucks at 1.
Browns at 3?
Mm-hmm.
They're 1-1, right?
Because they are doing this based on where they had them in the preseason and what they've done, not just the fact they're 2-0, 1-1, that kind of thing. That's obvious because you couldn't have Kansas City lower than Cleveland, for example.
Okay, all right, that's cool.
With the same record.
In that case, the ESPN had the Titans after week 1, 18th in the league. After that loss to
and that's
Arizona, yeah.
And the way they look, that's fair.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed about the Vegas odds for the Titans, they were 28 to 1 to enter the season to win the Super Bowl. I think it was. It's either that or to win the AFC.
Okay.
After the loss, they went to 33 to 1. After the win against Seattle, they went back to 28 to 1. So now they're right back to where they were.
They started.
Yeah. So it's almost like, all right, we're going to treat the first game like an outlier.
Mm-hmm.
This win's impressive enough for us to bump them back to where we originally had them, which is, 11th, 12th best number to potentially win the Super Bowl.
Yeah. It's still not bad. Of course, you expect the team to get better over time, and you want those odds to change. How often do they change them? Is it weekly? It is weekly?
Yeah.
On the odds?
Well, I mean, it can be daily, I guess, but weekly usually is when they change.
Weekly. Okay, I'll say this on those odds changing. You'd expect this week I would think this. All 3 stars got to get off. 4 stars, I guess. Tannehill should ball because I'm expecting Julio and AJ to have a monster game. AJ, more than anything, has to take the biggest step this week against this Colts team because of,
615-737-1045. When we come back, I got a question from Moan that helps us turn the page on Scout Meeting Wednesday and start to look at the Colts, and we will break down their offense for you as we start to open up that scouting playbook when we come back. But you can have your thoughts, certainly. 615-737-1045. I said put your best 7 reference in, and that's what you're doing. I see it all over the YouTube chat. We'll collect some of those during the break and read some when we come back. We're, of course, on Twitter at JMart Ramon, brought to you by All Four Seasons Garage Doors, and we're back in a moment here on 104.5 The Zone.
Besides sports, what's the 3HL's favorite thing? It's the food that goes along with sports.
They were yummy.
And some loaded tots,
And
too.
the tots with
Asian
brisket.
zing. Asian zing was
See,
our new
I'm
flavor.
a brisket tots girl right now.
You know why you lick the sides of your ice cream sandwich? So it doesn't melt all over you. No. Usually people always say, let me get the other half of that. Yeah. You lick all the sides, they can't ask for the other half.
The 3HL with Brent Doherty, Don Davenport, and Ron Slay. Today starting at 3 on 104.5 The Zone.
Hey, it's JMart. Next time you're at home, I want you to see if you notice some things happening with your house itself. Doors and windows sticking, your concrete, just it's not level. Your drywall separating, your chimneys leaning, you got cracks in your bricks, you got a bowing basement wall. All these possible foundation issues. Those are signs of it. And when it comes to foundation repair, nobody does it better than my pals over at United Structural Systems. USS has been doing this since '94. That's nearly 30 years doing it. Integrity and reputation off the charts, and they're from here. They're locally owned. They're not a franchise. They get the A+ rating, but they're locally owned. Better Business Bureau says, yep, top rating, but they're locally owned. That means they have time. They can customize a solution for you and your family, for every homeowner they service, depending on your specific needs. You don't get put in a category of, well, they have this kind of house, so this must be the case. No. United Structural Systems, they'll diagnose the problem, give you a detailed free estimate, so always nothing to lose, before you have to make any kind of decision. And as always, you don't pay a dime until all that work's done, and you are fully satisfied. Over 20,000 satisfied customers and counting can tell you you can feel really good about calling United Structural Systems. Here's how you do it. 615-227-2275. That's 227-2275, or online at USSTN.com. And tell them JMart sent you. United Structural Systems.
Lately, we've been getting a lot of calls and questions about acoustic wave therapy for the treatment of erectile dysfunction. This is a relatively new treatment for ED, but one we've been using for years. This is Kim for the Tennessee
65 southbound delays at 24. An accident has just been cleared. Shady Grove, 24 eastbound after Maxey Road. We've got a crash. Fairview, 40 eastbound before Highway 96. We've got a crash off on the left shoulder. On Kingston Springs, 40 eastbound at Kingston Springs, there's an accident. This report brought to you by the Tennessee Secretary of State. Are you a victim of domestic abuse, stalking, or sexual assault? Protect your address, protect yourself with Tennessee's free Safe at Home program, provided by the Tennessee Secretary of State's office. Keep your home address out of public records in the hands of offenders. For more information, visit safeathometn.com. I'm Christy O'Brien with traffic on your home for Titans football, 104.5 The Zone.
In Baltimore.
I can't believe they do this. It's such a college thing to do, but the Ravens do it also. It's JMart and Ramon here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by all four Seasons Garage Doors in Nashville. We were talking about Ben Roethlisberger's number, and then I just started randomly naming sevens, and then we all did. Daniel Nick on Twitter says 7-minute abs.
No. Hated that. There's nothing worse than that, dude. And it's only 7 minutes. Keep going, though. That's what she said.
I'm just saying.
It's hump day, huh?
I'm not saying, but I'm saying.
That's what she said.
Question for you, Moan, and I'll pull up the chat because I know some people were putting some of those answers into YouTube. Here's a question I want you to jump off on.
Yeah.
So the Titans coming off a win, a big win.
Yeah.
Against a contender and a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yeah.
And a Hall of Fame defender in Bobby Wagner also. Let's go ahead and make sure we put some respect on that name.
With a K at the end of respect.
Yeah. How do you, and is it difficult to, but how do you put that aside and move to the next thing and start looking at Indianapolis and not get caught up in your own hype?
Yeah.
Not try to be in your own video, all of that kind of thing. Not be UCLA and then walk up against Fresno after reading your own headlines in the LA Times all week. Oh, Chip Kelly, they could win the Pac-12. It's them in Oregon, and then go and lay an egg and lose to Fresno State. How if you're the Titans, especially knowing we're going to find out, like they're going to try and test Carson Wentz today, and you're going to probably know, sounds like whether or not he's going to be able to go or not. Especially if you've got Eason or whatever else, how do you avoid the letdown in your own brain because you're still riding high from a victory a week ago that now doesn't help you anymore?
Man, I'll say this. After the week one, having a game like that, and I've had games like that in my career where it's like, yeah, we really got drugged like this on national TV. Getting that win kind of solidifies what you thought about yourself, first and foremost. Like, okay, just reflecting back on that real quick, Jay, like getting to that point of like, okay, week one was a dud, and we come back strong. This is who we are as a team when we're firing on all cylinders. And football has a way of doing this also. When you get a little glimmer of just success, like, oh, we got this. We're part of this show. This we're in go mode now. And then the thing that coaches have to do, and I'm sure Coach Vrabel is a part of this. He knows this too. Never get too high, never get too low. That win was big on the road. And Vrabel kind of acknowledged it a little bit when they asked him, how was the crowd? You know what you remember what he said? Before or after the game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's part of how your team is gonna feel too. We're good enough, but we can't do what we did that first week. We can't expect to win. We gotta go make it win. And seeing yourself play against a really good opponent in which you're the underdog on the road, by the time you get to Wednesday, which is where we are right now, the car got to shut off on that game. We're done with that. Everything that I did trying to get FedEx rush ground rushing award,
Aaron Ground.
We're done with that. We're moving on. To reset on the Wednesday morning is almost like waking up after a long weekend. All right, let's go to work. Everything that I did last week, let's do that, and then let's build upon it. That first half is what the focus of today's practice got to be. Whatever they did in the first half of that Seattle game, correct those things. Finding the right runs. That's one thing I do feel like they did this past week in the second half. They went back to at least setting up the wrong run. When I saw Derrick Henry coming out of the second half, and it was that play where he fell forward like 4 or 5 yards, I was like, it looked like they're setting up something. About 3 plays later is when he had that 60-yard run. I'm like, that's the team that you got to be. It's almost as if they didn't think about what they were going to do.
Did you ever see a teammate where, like, you guys had a big win?
Yeah.
And you could just tell a teammate was feeling himself a little bit too much because of that performance, and you were just thinking to yourself, yeah, wait till Sunday.
Yeah. But that's where the vets come in, though, also. I've seen guys, whether it's been younger D linemen or even some vets, like, man, I got off. It was my week. And then next thing you know, the following week, they might have two catches for 1 yard. And it's all about staying humble. I said this a million times, I feel like yesterday. It's a very humbling league. So your mindset this week is to re-zone back in, focus in on what you got to do as a pro, and you know there's going to be a newer challenge. And this is the other part of the league, too. I told you, most film lasts 3 weeks in this league as far as game planning. They're going to go back and figure out what you did week 1 to beat you. That's one thing that always chased me after a big win, too, is we won big, but they're going to look at my deficiencies and what I did in the loss. And you got to fight off the Arizona game because we're going to find out the Colts are just as good up front in spots as Arizona was. You got to fight off the win, too. Never get too high, never get too low. I was talking yesterday, and I was like, the worst part about a win is you still going to have some cringy plays.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the coaching staff got to come in like, yeah, we were good, but still not good enough. And that's how you got to look at it. Listen to Saffold yesterday on 3HL. Here's a guy who's a part of a 2,000-yard rusher. You know what he said about the 2,000 yards? He was like, I wish we just went ahead and got the record.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, who was it, Sweetness that got the 2,000 over 2,300? Forget who it is, but he was just like, the 2,000 is fine, but he wanted more. And that's the whole idea of the league. Like, we won big in Seattle.
It's Eric Dickerson. 2105.
21. He was, and listening to him say, we got 2,000. I'm a part of history, but I wish we would have got the record. That's got to be the mindset after a big win, too, is it was good enough, but I want more. We heard Tom Brady say this all the time. What's your best favorite ring? My next one.
The next one, yeah.
Like,
and that was the thing.
This week.
Yeah, well, I mean, I said about Michael Jordan, if you watch The Last Dance, one of the things that I took away from The Last Dance, and I asked a question, was that dude ever happy? Because he seemed to be more upset about the ring they didn't win because they didn't stay together one more year than all the ones that they did win. And I'm just like, well, I don't think you win the other ones if you don't have that mentality.
No.
Because that's kind of sucks because you can't just sit there and enjoy it. But the same thing as Nick Saban's watching film on recruits on the way home from the national championship
I get
wins.
it now. I get why he's that great. You know what I'm saying? And you in the moment you don't really think about it. And I don't know if, Sappho thought about that too, but hearing that, and we've had conversations about if you get a contract, no matter how big or small it is, even after that, man, I want more.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're right-minded and you're a pro, this team, just look at that AJ, he's got it. That's why if he's on my fantasy team, I'm starting him this week.
Oh, yeah, I do too. Absolutely. He hasn't done enough to be put on a bench yet. Not even close.
Not even close. So, and that's the thing, hearing Sappho kind of say that yesterday on 3HL was the fact that, look, they got some right-minded guys. I don't know what week 1 was because we really didn't get a whole lot of information out of them. But hearing him say yesterday, there were some times in that 2,000-yard campaign last year that they rested Derrick Henry, which they could have got a little bit more. They could have got a little bit more after Houston, after Jacksonville. That lets you know their mentality if they take after a leader like him. That was kind of cool to hear, like, okay, 2,000 is sweet, but if I could have got the record, that's what you want to do. And that's how you got to treat the season. Like that win in Seattle was awesome. Should have been a walk-off safety. Like Ola, a guy like him, leave that alone. You can't expect the same rush or protection because everything that you did this past weekend, they're going to try to clean that up. And that's where they got to be as a team, man. If Coach Rabel and his staff are smart, they humble them still. They put their nose in the dirt and they go back to work. That's what you do on a big win, man, because there's nothing worse than to ride a roller coaster, Jay, up and down. Nobody wants an up and down season.
No, right, and that's what the Titans need to avoid. They need to stack dubs.
Yeah,
they need to start
now
doing that, especially
6 straight AFC games.
So that's right. And you could go 4-2 in those games.
Dog.
You could, but that means you got to beat the Colts twice, or you have to beat either Kansas City or Buffalo.
We ain't did a picture. Did we? We did a picture of me polling. That should be
on how you go through these AFC games.
Yeah.
It's a good one. Yeah, I got a secondary question, and you can start to open your notebook now because we're going to talk about the Colts offense here. But when you're playing against a wounded but still good team in your division, how different does that hit, if you want to put it that way, in terms of this is a Colts team that may be playing with a quarterback that really doesn't have much underneath his belt, right? But they can run the ball. Yeah. They can play defense. They're well coached. They usually don't beat themselves. And more often than not, they've had your number for a decade.
Baltimore. Case in point. Flacco was out, and guess who they put in? I think it was Blaine Gabbert a few years back. Dog, we went into that game, Jay, thinking, dog, we know we can stop their run. This is the defensive side of the ball. We can stop their run. Blaine Gabbert is nobody we need to be calling, upstairs about. We should have this in the bag. What happened was this. Their defense played really well. Our guys, I felt like, was really lax. I'll be honest with you. And we ended up losing in Baltimore to a quarterback that we shouldn't have lost to. And the thing about Eason is this. He's been in that system for a year, so he knows how to operate. If he gets to a point to where he can manage that game well enough, then the defense is going to surround him. You're going to see Michael Pittman Jr. make plays he probably hadn't made before. That running back by committee that they have in the back can be dangerous. And there's nothing worse than I've been on a road where a lesser quarterback has beaten us. And you want to talk about feeling deflated from a fan base, from inside the building, from the coaching staff. You got to fight that off. The mentality, though, was from the coaching staff, step on their neck, guys. They're less than right now. And because of that, guys kind of get a little chill. And this team can't afford that. We couldn't either. That same year, we ended up missing the playoffs. That's what an in-division loss would do to you because you think you got it in the bag.
So I think if you step on their neck early, you put them out of their misery because it is a team that when a team is lesser than, if you can get up on them by double digits, get a good start, a lot of times those teams don't know what to do at that point. Because then the quarterbacks, in this case, the quarterback, but whatever the position is, whatever the sport is, the quarterback then has to jump out of his comfort zone and start playing Superman, and he's not capable of doing that.
We went out to L.A. and played the Chargers with Devlin Hodges, a.k.a. Duck, and they let us hang around a little bit too long. They got super aggressive. The Chargers got super aggressive on defense. We hit some guys in the flats. They made plays for them. Having a young quarterback like that, you can bury him quick if you just play your game. Don't go outside of your box and try to be Superman. There's nothing worse for a team to do than to do too much against a guy that, like you said, little to no experience in game. Finding the ability to make plays, he probably can't see the field the way you need to. So if you confuse him just a little bit, you can knock everybody out. And this is the thing, though, too. I respect all of the guys that played behind Ben, but the fact that he wasn't there some days, it left me a little uneasy. So if he threw one in the dirt, one over somebody's head, I was like, man, it's going to be a long one. And you know what I'm saying? That mentality about stepping on necks, if they got us early and it was like, guys, let's finish this game because this dude behind me really ain't going to do too much.
Yeah, and in terms of Eason, I think the other thing is play within yourself and don't let the game come to you because I think he's going to throw it to you. Yeah. I think if you don't take an unnecessary risk and get yourself in a bad coverage situation, if you're the Titans secondary, he's probably going to gift you a couple. Yeah, probably. After we're seeing Zach Wilson throw 4 and Trevor Lawrence throw 4 and all this, like, interceptions are there to be had. If you don't cheat too much, I think he's still probably going to find a way to throw it to you.
And the Rams took advantage of that last week. I think it was like 2 for 5 last weekend with an interception. Played that game. Now, we'll see what he's like with a full week of preparation under him, but you got to get after him within the confines of what the team defense is. You can't have guys running outside of their gap, letting him escape and make plays down the field. That's how we ended up winning on the road to Chargers. There's been many other times, too, where a backup quarterback finds his way winning a game. And everybody's going to celebrate him, and you know what your team going to look like on ESPN? A bunch of duds.
So tell me about the offense a little bit here, Moan. Obviously, we know what Eason did in college. Jacob Eason, he's not really going to be the focus, but the Colts have to get something from him.
They have to. Just a little bit of head coach Frank Reich. His coaching record is actually a little bit closer than I thought it was going to be to 500. He's 28-22. Had no idea it was that close. I felt like they've had a lot more success than 28 than 22 under his tenure. Didn't know he was a former third-round pick. Also, losses. 0-2, Seattle 16-28, and LA Rams 24-27. Here's the offense for you. Offense, 41.7% on third down on the season. Titans got to get them off the field.
Well, 41 would be a good percentage for the Titans to hit.
Yes.
That would mean they're getting off the field almost 60% of the time. That would be in the right direction.
Right direction, man. They've actually had fourth down attempts, got none. I'm guessing some desperation times. Also, their league rank right now is 24th. After 2 weekends, 24 ain't bad. You're sputtering a little bit. Core of this offense is nice. Quentin Nelson.
Maybe the best offensive lineman in football.
Yes, sir.
Him or Bakhtiari
or
Trent.
Zach
Martin or Trent. Right?
Yes, it's those four right there, Jay. Hands down, there's really no conversation about that one. Ryan Kelly, though, is solid. Eric Fisher was back last weekend for the first time. That's going to be interesting for him. And Mark Glowinski is actually a really good guard, and Braden Smith's the new guy. All solid, and a top 3 O-line also depending on the day. They can run well when need to, and we know they can protect. This is a team, again, if you let Eason get comfortable, if you do too much and get outside of your rushing lanes, this line can help him go. It's one of the better ones in the league, man. Jonathan Taylor on the season, 32 rushes for 107 yards. Hadn't had a whole lot of big plays from him, but it's running back by committee, though, with Marlon Mack in the backfield and Nyheim Hines. If Wentz plays, he's also a running threat too, but that's a big if.
And especially now, how much of a running threat is he coming off of 2 sprained ankles?
Mm-hmm. That right there is 2 sprained ankles?
Dude. I mean, he's Forrest Gump. He's going to roll out there on the sidelines and have metal legs.
With the braces on, Jay. This is a note that needs to be brought up. You asked about a guy having a huge week. Well, Michael Pittman Jr. had a big week last week. His career high was last weekend with, what do you have, 132 passing yards, I think, on the year. He was 8 for 123. He had a longer 42 yards. He's going to be looking to have a bigger game. I don't know who's going to cover him. Last year, he took some strides, and I feel like this year in the second game, he's moving forward again.
Okay. We'll put a pin in the book. We'll come back. We will continue talking about the Colts offense. We'll take your thoughts as well. 615-737-1045, 737-1045. It is Scout Meeting Wednesday. Rhett will be with us in the final hour of the show. We'll break down the defense in the third hour, the Colts defense, that is, and look at how the Titans might be able to exploit that. We have turned the page. The Seahawks game was a great win.
Yeah.
Was. Past tense. Week-to-week league. Now it's what have you done for me lately? Mm-hmm. And lately it's going to be Indy coming to town. We'll be right back. It's JMart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone.
Friday night, it's Brentwood Academy at MBA in the 104.5 The Zone Football Friday Night Game of the Week. Presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office and Paul Winkler Investing. Coverage starts Friday night at 6:30 with Will Bowling and Lucas Panzica on your home for high school football. 104.5 The Zone.
Hey, it's Schaefer with JMart and Ramon. Get your payout before
Trinity Hill, 65 southbound at 24. An accident's been moved to the left shoulder. Watch for stop-and-go traffic from Dickerson Pike. Charlotte Park, 40 westbound at Whitebridge Pike. We've got a crash in the left lane. Use caution. Fairview, 40 eastbound after Fairview Dixon. There's an accident blocking the shoulder. Nashboro Village, Murfreesboro Pike westbound. There's a crash at Bell Road. And Rural Hill Road, we've got an accident at Murfreesboro Pike. I'm Christy O'Brien with traffic on your home for Titans football. 104.5 The Zone.
All seven and we'll watch them fall. They stand in the way of love and we will smoke them all with an intellect and a sidewalk.
Hey, I thought about this. Prince, 7. Today's random is what's your 7? Tomahawk Chop 22 says 7 wins in a row by Bama against the Vols. That's trolling.
Choosing violence.
Will Hodges, how many sacks has Lawan given up Sunday? 7.
Yep. That's them.
Adam says 7 picks thrown by Jacob Eason this weekend.
Hey, now.
I don't understand that one, so I'll keep moving that one. Just keep them coming. Whatever your 7 reference is, built off of Roethlisberger's number, which we talked about sort of randomly. That's what we do on this show. It is JMart Ramon here on 104.5 The Zone. Picture me polling at JMart and Ramon on Twitter. The Titans' next 6 games against AFC opponents. Indianapolis, at the Jets, at the Jags, Buffalo, Kansas City, at Colts.
Mm-hmm.
How will the Titans perform over that stretch? Your 3 choices, 4-2 or better, 3-3, 2-4 or worse. Go ahead and have your say right there. A couple hundred of you already have. We just put the poll up, so just keep on letting them fly, and we'll get to some of those comments as we roll right along. All right, back again to the scouting notebook on the offensive side of the ball, Moan.
Yeah, Michael Pittman Jr., man.
He's a hell of a player. Second year out of Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Stellar. He had a great first year.
Yeah, who was it? David Carr wrote an article on him as high draft picks that are turning the page. Michael Pittman Jr. was in there.
Mm-hmm.
We'll take it for what it's worth, but he's the guy that's, I guess, getting the AJ treatment right now. He's getting the AJ treatment.
Aaron Rodgers could have had him.
Could have.
Another one of those guys they passed on last year.
Passed on. But clearing up, like I said, last weekend he had his career high 8 for 123 yards, longer 42. This is going to be the biggest factor, I feel like, in this game. Young quarterbacks or new quarterbacks that go into games, Jay, they need a blanket. You know what the blanket is? Comfort. Makes them feel warm and fuzzy.
Yes, I've seen a blanket.
That's Jack Doyle this week.
That's my guy. That's Hilltopper pride right there.
That they usually find the tight end. Linebackers are going to have a day. And he ain't had a whole lot, but last weekend he had 8 targets, man. 8 targets. He was 5 for 64. Second highest passing targets on the team, even coming from Carson Wentz. Also, Zach Pascal, 5 for 38 in the touchdown. This is what I said about him. This team really spreads the ball around. Running backs are very much involved in the offense. Every running back has either had a catch or a target towards them. So the ball is spread out all the way. Carson Wentz, quickly on him, 498 yards on the season so far, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. They've given up also 6 sacks in 2 weeks. Almost, that's okay for their offensive line.
6 sacks is not the end of the world, but for Carson Wentz, it's like 60.
That last
because of that
sack,
body.
Yeah, exactly. That last sack took him out for maybe 6 weeks. But Jacob Eason, 4th-round pick in 2020. Like I said, he's been in this system for a little while. 2-5 last week when he got in the game for 25 yards and an interception. Again, to your point, if you can get to him, stay your lanes, he gonna cough it up. I don't know who said it for the top odd, but you might get 7 picks. Okay.
Yeah.
Also for him, very young. Been in the system, played at Washington and Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
College career, 59.8% passing in college, threw over 5,500 yards, 39 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. He's not immune to throwing interception. Also was a 2015 Gatorade National Player of the Year. Just throwing it out there as one of his look. He's an athlete if given the opportunity.
He was another guy that was supposed to be the guy. I think he's another baseball guy too, like Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray.
Mm-hmm. But that's their offense for the most part. Again, that O-line, tight ends got to play a huge part of easing this in, and watch out for Michael Pittman Jr.
And Pascal's a good player.
And Pascal, too,
they can use him. But Jack Doyle, you know what's weird about Jack Doyle?
Yeah.
For a 5-6 year stretch, right around the time I was starting to cover, I covered all of Doyle because I was a student broadcaster, finishing up at WKU. So I covered his whole career hosting Inside Hilltopper Sports, interviewed him a couple times and all that kind of stuff while he's there. But the tight end position at Western Kentucky, at one point there were 3 of them starting in the NFL. 2 of them now are with Tyler Higbee and with the Rams and Jack Doyle with the Colts. One tragically passed away that was starting for the Chargers as well. But I don't know how. Like, I know Iowa's tight end U, but, like, just kind of sideline back in the ground. Like, WKU was putting tight ends into the league at a pretty high clip. And Doyle's been really good. And Doyle was originally signed as an undrafted free agent to the Titans. Came here, they let him go, hoping he was going to clear waivers and they could put him on a practice squad. And the Colts were like, yoink, and they've never, ever let him go.
Got him back again.
Garrett Blunt, same thing.
That's right.
There's another player like that on that team, too, on the defensive side of the ball for Indy. What is his name? Young D-Lama, Al-Quadin Muhammad. Same thing. Saints let him go. Been a Colt the whole time. We'll get back into him, too, because I think he's the reason why Danico Autry's here in Nashville.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Oh, how about a way to end the first hour?
Come on now.
Only listener in radio with his own walk-up music. Don't let us down. It's because of Mike in Cleveland. What's up, fam?
What up, dog? What's up? How y'all doing?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm good, man. Another day out here on this road, you know. Yeah, but, of course I got to call in and speak up on these little ponies. Y'all keep on calling them Colts like they special. You know, they little ponies. But before I do, I want to say, y'all remember when I called and I was like, if it's beef, if it's a problem with Russell Wilson in Seattle, that I can see him going to Atlanta. Y'all remember that?
Yep.
Hey, did y'all see Pete Carroll come out talking about Russell, how he should have did more to get those yards that they needed at the end of the game? I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, if they don't turn it around, Russell Wilson is going to want to leave Seattle. And I can totally see it coming out that Atlanta is number 1 on his list. I know it might sound crazy. I know it might sound just out there, but I mean, y'all heard it from your boy. But on the little ponies, and as far as we go, in the past, I would be worried about this game, and y'all know I'll be honest about it, especially because we favored and everything that we all know that sometimes these are the games that Titans will go out and lay a fat egg on. But after the thing that makes me feel better is that we laid the fat egg. We had high expectations all in the offseason. We had national coverage. We had, big name come to the squad, and we came out against the Cardinals and we looked like we normally do in week 3. So therefore, it's almost like reverse. Like everything with the Titans in this organization to me is different, and we're about to see how it's different. I really feel like as far as we go, and why we're gonna win is just because one, they had to fight for the win against Seattle. They had to learn in-game chemistry. AJ also had an embarrassing day, so he's gonna come out hot. I think Michael Pruitt is basically showing up in a big way, and I think that D-line is going to feel good about going against Easton because we got some film on them from preseason, and they should have a pretty good feel on what Frank Wright is going to play.
I'm sorry. I thought you were done, Mike.
What just happened?
We got to get to a break.
Sniper gang.
Got to get to a break.
Man.
Sniper gang. Chat
gotta
crazy.
land. Mike, I know what you're saying, but you got to land the plane. Yes! Here's what he was saying about Pete Carroll, by the way. We didn't function as well down the stretch on Russell Wilson. I wish he would have been able to keep us moving with some checkdowns late in the game, but the shots he was taking were working most of the game. He said, I wish Russ could have helped us there and just made completions for us in overtime. We needed to just move the ball there and change the field position. So, yeah, he did say a couple things about Russ. We'll say a lot more things for the next 3 hours. Sorry about that, Mike. We got to get to the break. Brad Crawford, 24/7 Sports, joins us in the second segment. We'll shift gears. Who's real in college football? Is anybody real? Some prove-it games, no question about that, coming up for some big-time teams this weekend, and certainly the Vols going to the Swamp. We'll talk all about that when we come back after the top of the hour headlines here on 104.5 The Zone.
Coming up today on Blaine and Mickey.
What happens with the Vols in Gainesville this weekend? We're going to discuss that in hour one.
And week 2 in the NFL was in the books. It did not disappoint. Jordan Dajani of CBS Sports discusses all of it at 2:20.
Today, starting at 1 p.m. on 104.5 The Zone.
Mortgage interest rates are still sitting at an all-time low level, but they are starting to tick up. So you've been sitting on the fence to get a refi. You hadn't got your pre-approved home loan locked in. Let me tell you, now is the time. You got to stop waiting for a lower rate because they won't stick around much longer. You're going to miss out. Right now, the interest rates are sitting in a low 2%, which means by refinancing your 30-year mortgage, the home loan expert can save you hundreds of dollars a month. This past year has been tough for a lot of different reasons. The world pandemic, people just struggling with life, but I'm here to tell you, your home is your biggest asset. And with the home equity so high right now, it's the perfect time to do a cash out refi. What does this do for me, Ramon? Well, let me tell you. It can lower your monthly payments, give you direct cash to pay off debt, and have you skip a few mortgage payments. That's how you crush 2021 right there with a little less worry. If you've been sitting at home looking at this housing market, especially in this area, you can tell the homes are still selling fast. So getting pre-approved is key to finding your dream home. At thehomeloanexpert.com, they can lock in your interest rate. Perfect. Get that done. Project your payments, yes, so we can balance out the rest of this year and get you pre-qualified. So when you find that right home, you can submit that offer and close on your dream home fast because it's going to be you and other people bidding on it. Thehomeloanexpert.com are doing more home loans than ever and are closing purchases in less than 30 days. So don't wait. Visit thehomeloanexpert.com.
This is Boomer and Science with the CBS Sports Minute, sponsored by Oxford Gold Group.
Pike and Cockrell Bend, Old Hickory Boulevard at Ashland City Highway. An accident with emergency crews on the scene. This report brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook. The goblet is dropped. Download Caesars Sportsbook and get started with a risk-free bet of up to $5,000. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 and up. I'm Christy O'Brien with traffic on your home for Titans football. 104.5 The Zone.
From the WinBet studio, Win with WinBet. WGFX Gallatin, Nashville. The Titans and the Colts. Kickoff is Sunday at noon on your home for Titans football. Trending now at 104.5 The Zone.
It is 7:01. Good morning. I'm Jonathan Schaefer. Atlanta defeated Arizona 6-1 yesterday in Major League Baseball. Austin Riley hit his 30th home run of the season. Ozzie Albies also hit a 2-run shot.
Ozzie destroys this one. High in the air to deep right field. That is gone. Ozzie Albies clears the wall and about the first 3 or 4 rows out there behind the wall.
Ozzie Albies with that home run as the Braves maintained their 3-game lead in the NL East. The boys in gold in action tonight. Nashville SC travels to enter Miami CF. Nashville in second place in the Eastern Conference, 3 points ahead of New York City FC and Orlando SC. Kickoff set for 6:30. Titans waive safety Bradley McDougald and also defensive lineman Anthony Rush yesterday. The SEC released its 2022 football schedule. The Vols will have a 3-game stretch where they host Florida on September 24th, travel to LSU on October 8th, and then host Alabama on October 15th. Have fun with that. Meanwhile, 3 of their last 4 games will be on the road, starting with a trip to Georgia. That's the 2022 schedule. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once. On your home for the Titans and the Vols, this is 104.5 The Zone.
Everybody's attention now.
Now it's time for Jason Martin and Vol for Life Ramon Foster.
Powered by All 4 Seasons Garage Doors.
Together, they are JMart and Ramon on 104.5 The Zone.
What's happening? Hour number 2, JMart and Ramon on this Wednesday, along with 11-year NFL veteran Vol for Life Ramon Foster, Jonathan Schaefer. I'm Jason Martin at Ramon Foster, at Schaefer on Sports, at JMart Radio, at JMart and Ramon. Guests will appear on this program via the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. That includes Brad Crawford, our pal from 24/7 Sports. He'll be with us in the next segment. Top observation this hour. Top ob, I sniped Cuzzo Mike. But I'm going to give him top observation. Look, you got to land a plane. I'm going to tell this to all the callers. We love the callers, and we feel like we get a lot of really good calls.
Hey, the fam.
But you can't just go for 5 minutes. It's got to be really fun. It's got to be Converse in the dryer, kind of entertaining to go 5 minutes. Like it's, you got to land a plane. So I hated having to snipe Mike because we love Mike, but had to get to a break. But I'm going to give him top observation. He said, stopped at Love's real quick this morning.
Okay.
You know where this is going. For a little cup of Java, and as the system is calling shower numbers out, it hit me. That's that petty, can't say that on the radio, Schaefer.
You, Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, what he doesn't know is I cut new audio for them yesterday, so I'll be on their Love's TV when you go to the gas pumps. Yeah, I'll be on that too.
Yep. Who the heck is this guy?
That's still the voice of Love's Travel Stops. You ever hear the showers? That's Jonathan Schaefer's dulcet tones.
Shower number 7. Shower number 7 is ready.
Oh.
By the way, y'all be safe with this rain this morning, man. It's coming.
I'm about over it with the rain.
You about done?
Today's the first day of fall. I'm about over it with the rain.
Ooh, time to turn my sprinklers off, baby.
Sound like a pair of Converse in a damn dryer.
Right. That can go for 5 minutes. Boom! Boom!
Where is he at, man?
Yeah, we haven't had Chuck call in a while, have we?
Chuck.
There it is.
That was radio gold right there, man.
Vols in the swamp.
Yeah. Oh, come on.
6 p.m. Central Time on Saturday. I think we're in an interesting place. And certainly it is Scout Meeting Wednesday. We'll have Rhett in the 4th hour. We're going to break down the Colts defense. We did the offense in the 1st hour. If you're just waking up, podcast is wherever you get your podcast. Drop us that 5-star review. We'd certainly appreciate that. And catch up on anything that you've missed. So we did the Colts offense. We'll do the Colts defense in the 3rd hour, and then Rhett will come and we'll just really go full circle with it in the fourth hour of the show. But there's a lot of teams that in college football that I think are jumbled up, Moan, that I don't know who's really good. I think there's just a lot of teams that are kind of good, but I wouldn't lay $1 on them.
So you like Alabama, don't love Alabama also?
No, I still love Alabama.
Okay.
I don't think this is as talented a team and as experienced a team in certain classifications as other Nick Saban teams have been. But at the same time, Alabama may just dominate for the rest of the season. If I had to predict it, they would still be the choice. Them and Georgia, to me, and I think Oregon is good, but I don't know how good Ohio State is relative to what you thought Ohio State was going to be. So with that said, how big is that win going to end up being at the end of the year? I still think it's big. If you go to Horseshoe and win, that's important. But look at this. Oklahoma's 3-0. Are you impressed with Oklahoma at 3-0?
I really ain't. And
No.
I'll be honest with you, their SEC roster is not an SEC roster. The way they're playing games is not. They're gonna get punched in the mouth more than Texas. I feel like, and I feel like Texas won't have a mouth guard in. Is how I look.
You
at
are
that.
starting to see more of Eric Gray out there. For them, but they're going to go with Spencer Rattler goes. And right now, I'm sort of on the fence watching Spencer Rattler. I know how talented he can be. I don't know that matters, though.
Also, by the way, Georgia's playing Vandy this weekend, so you got a big weekend if you want to watch Georgia and come see the Titans this Sunday too.
Speaking of Georgia, let's go to Timbo in Nashville. What's up, Tim?
What's up, Tim?
Yeah. You know what? It's not good weather right now, but it's going to be sunny and 75 on the west end on Saturday. And it's going to be a sea of red over at Vanderbilt to watch Georgia win by about 58, which will be fun. So I think you're right. I think Georgia and Alabama are kind of it right now. And to be frank, obviously I'm a Georgia fan, so I'm going to have my own biases. But I think this is the best chance Georgia's had to beat Alabama. I think their offense is better than it's ever been in the last, 5 years or so when we've been competing with Alabama. And I think the Georgia defense is also as good as it's ever been. So tell me what you guys think. I think this is the year Georgia can do it.
Tim, I think you're absolutely right. This is if there was ever a year where you could see Georgia winning the national championship, this is it. They're loaded. They've got an unbelievable defense. I like their skill talent at wide receiver. JT Daniels can flat out play when he's healthy. I'm not going to favor them over Alabama, but this is a year where if they beat them, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised. Their stumbling block really is Florida.
Yeah.
When they have to play at the world's largest outdoor cocktail party, can they get through? Because Florida is a good football team. I don't think they're anywhere near as talented as Georgia personally. I think Georgia's a much better football team. That doesn't matter because Florida is capable of beating them, just like they were almost capable of beating Alabama in the swamp on Saturday.
Yeah, 100%, man. That was really, really close, man. Speaking of Georgia, of Georgia, like this being their year, who's South Carolina's coach, Shane Beamer? Shane Beamer. I got to find this quote from this past week, man.
They just embarrassed them, man. And South Carolina, Georgia's kind of a rivalry. I lived down in that territory, and they treated that game the same way Tennessee fans treat the third Saturday in October.
Yeah.
Like they obviously Clemson, South Carolina is the rival. The other one's Georgia.
Yes.
And they play it early in the year. South Carolina and Georgia play within the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season every year. And it is a party that week because they can't wait to go beat Georgia.
Yeah.
And usually that's not how that goes.
Yeah, no, it's not. Shane Beamer on Georgia, though, talking about South Carolina, they have this is him talking just as a human being. I feel like Coach Speak was out of the question right now. He said they have 100 5-star football players on their defense. They have a D lineman that weighs 340 pounds and runs better than everybody on this call. They're really freaking good. I mean, besides that, they're just a solid team. No. Georgia has been stacking and has been stacking and has been stacking, Jay, for the last 2-3 years on everything coming out of the Southeast. And now if there's a year, it's this one, like Tim said. That they're
I said, I'm not picking against the guys. I'm not picking against the boys. But
Bama, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
But this is a year where Georgia has closed the gap a little bit.
Is it possible that Florida is Georgia's bidet?
That was Brian Rice with us yesterday on the show. Oh, man. But looking a little bit deeper in, and then we'll have Brad Crawford, of course, on the other side. So we talked about Oklahoma. Iowa has the usual Iowa issue. Iowa's undefeated, a really good team, an extremely well-coached team, but they can't score enough points against good teams to beat them.
Mm-hmm.
They are the Big Ten Iowa team that you see every single year. I like Iowa. This is a year where Iowa, because of their schedule and because of the way they play defense and how hard it is to win in Ames, and they beat an Indiana team that's top 20 and in Iowa State. They've already beat Iowa State that they were supposed to be really good. So you can potentially, this is the year. Then Penn State is 6. I don't think Penn State's offense is good enough either, but Penn State, if you look at Penn State's schedule, Penn State's a team that could be a one-loss team at the end of the year.
You seeing them beating Ohio State this year? Which
Maybe.
Ohio State's already dropped to Oregon.
Maybe.
At the shoe.
They didn't look good against Tulsa.
Did not.
They had to come back. I mean, they had to come back against Minnesota.
Yeah.
They have not been very good this year. If you look at it, they got Villanova, Indiana. Indiana will be tough. Then they play at Iowa. That's the game where you're going to find out whether or not they're for real, because that's going to be a raucous environment. Illinois is nothing. Then they go to Ohio State. Do I think they come out of Iowa and Ohio State with wins? No. I think that's where they lose their one. They'll lose one of those. Then they get Maryland, Michigan, who I still don't really fully trust, even though they ran for about 7 trillion yards on Saturday. Rutgers and Michigan State.
Yeah.
Penn State is the kind of team that can be phonally good, because I don't know how good the Big Ten is again. But if you look at all these undefeated teams, like, how many of them do you really trust? That's the question that I really want to ask Brad Crawford.
Yeah.
Is what's the state of college football as a whole? When we come back, Brad Crawford of 24/7 Sports will join us. I know we had Cousin Joey. Hopefully he can call back a little bit later on. We're going to get to the break. He wanted to talk about Ole Miss, and that's a team that maybe does need to be discussed, because Matt Corral might be your Heisman favorite right now. Him and Lane Kiffin cooking, folks. Brad Crawford, 24/7 Sports. We'll be right back. JMart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone.
Barbecue sauce. This is where the Titans play. 104.5 The Zone.
Hey, put Lee Company on your team, and you're always going to be ahead of the game with home maintenance and repair. Sign up for a Lee Company home maintenance plan for as little as $8.25 per month. $8.25. Well, I mean, what is that? That's nothing. Home maintenance plan members receive 4 service visits from the Lee Company team of experts, an air conditioning system inspection and tune-up to help keep your house cool and the energy savings flow into the heat of summer, an electrical safety and energy savings inspection, and a detailed annual plumbing inspection. I actually have my first one of these maintenance plan visits set for Tuesday. Lee Company's going to be out at the house checking my HVAC units upstairs and downstairs to make sure we're ready for the winter. That heating system inspection, that tune-up, that's crucial, man. Members also receive special discounts on repairs and replacements. You know if it's a Lee Company, the quality's good. You know the value is good. They're always trying to find ways to help you save money. For the very best electrical, heating, air conditioning, and plumbing services, call Lee Company today at 615-567-1000. That's 567-1000. Call them today. Visit them online at leecompany.com. One more time, that phone number. And when you get them on the horn, tell them your guy JMart sent you. 615-567-1000.
Lately, we've been getting a lot of calls and questions about acoustic wave therapy for the treatment of erectile dysfunction. This is a relatively new treatment for ED, but one we've been using for years. This is Kim for the Tennessee Men's Clinic, and if you're
Clarksville, 24 westbound before Rossview Road. We've got reports of a crash. Watch for stop traffic. East Nashville, Ellington Parkway, southbound at Cleveland Street. A crash has been moved to the left shoulder. Cockrell Bend, Old Hickory Boulevard at Ashland City Highway. We've got an accident with emergency crews on the scene. Fairview, 40 near Fairview Dixon. We've got an accident blocking the left shoulders in each direction. I'm Christy O'Brien with traffic on your home for Titans football. 104.5 The Zone.
Seven Spanish Angels, keeping up the number 7 commentary from earlier. We mentioned Roethlisberger's jersey number innocently. Then we make a couple of references, and now it's become the theme of the day. Donnie T on Twitter, UGA will not beat UF, mental little people. And then says, so UGA, Georgia beat Clemson, who just beat Georgia Tech 14-7. First off, it's 14-8. Without scoring an offensive touchdown, and you guys are just eating it up. Embarrassing.
Sheesh.
They did win the game, right?
Yeah.
They are undefeated, right?
They are.
Week 1, weird things happened, but one weird thing that didn't happen is Georgia didn't lose.
They won.
I already said, look,
Yeah.
Florida is the big stumbling block for Georgia.
Yeah, facts.
That's the one they've got to find a way to get through because Florida will be up for that game. They always are.
I feel like
no question.
Georgia really knows their history. Like, they got to get over this hump of a national championship.
This is the year, if ever there was a year, for them to get over the hump.
Mm-hmm.
Guests appear via the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. It is JMart Ramon, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Stores. Guests including this man, Brad Crawford, 24/7 Sports. Brad, how are you this morning?
Hey, guys, how are you?
Pretty good. So, Brad, tell me, how good do you think Georgia is?
I think Georgia's a pretty good football team as long as JT Daniels can stay healthy and throw the football like he did Saturday night against the Gamecocks. There were several chunk plays that maybe we hadn't seen from Georgia outside of the first half of that UAB game this season. And I think Georgia, when its passing game is on fire like that, is pretty tough to beat as a complete team. Look, guys, Georgia's defense is still very good, probably second best in the country right now, I think, behind Clemson's. And this is a team that, you know, is going to head into that Florida game unbeaten and probably number 2 behind Bama.
Just across the board with Georgia, I mean, what is the SEC now? It almost seems like with Arkansas finding a way, Ole Miss making a way, like this conference is kind of expanding on quality a little bit more than it has been in years past, but does it matter with Alabama and Georgia?
Yeah, I think there's maybe 4 or 5 really good teams in the SEC. Obviously, Alabama and Georgia are in that top tier by themselves, but right now, man, through the first 3 weeks, I've kind of been intrigued by that race to the number 3 spot. You know, whether that's Ole Miss, A&M, Florida, Arkansas. I had number 6 in this week's power rankings. Obviously, can make a giant leap Saturday if they're able to beat Texas A&M at AT&T Stadium in Arlington. But yeah, the Razorbacks right now are a team that I'm trying to take a closer look at and see if they're legit or not. Is Arkansas going to be able to win a game once they're stopped at the line of scrimmage with their rushing attack? That's gonna come into play Saturday, I think.
So these undefeated teams, we've been talking about this now for a couple of days. You look at Oklahoma, you look at Oregon, you look at Iowa, you look at Penn State, A&M, Cincinnati, Notre Dame, Ole Miss, BYU, Arkansas. I mean, there's a lot of undefeated teams. But Brad, I don't know how many big dogs we really have this year. Like, it feels more like we're going to have some serious debates by the time we get to the end of the year, because there's going to be a lot of teams with good, maybe not stellar resumes and not a whole lot of common opponents to go between them. Is that how you look at it? Because I look at all these teams and I'm just like, I don't gamble, but I'm glad I don't, because I have no idea of this crew who I really trust.
Right.
Yeah, if we didn't have preseason polls, fellas, then Ohio State, Clemson, Oklahoma would all be outside the top 10 right now, because none of those 3 elites have looked elite whatsoever. I think Oregon right now is the best team behind Alabama and Georgia. I was very impressed with the Ducks' win at Ohio State and really what they've been able to do in the trenches. I mean, Mauro Cristobal has built that West Coast team like some of these powerhouses we see in the South, and obviously they have a very good quarterback right now in Anthony Brown, and C.J. Verdell had 165 yards rushing against Ohio State. So there's 3 unbeatens right now that I think are going to be mainstay national title contenders, over the next few months. But like you said, that dozen to 15 or so unbeaten teams behind them, it's just really hard to pick out the elite qualities. I mean, Notre Dame's 3-0, hasn't beaten anyone, and really has 3 narrow victories. Yeah. I think Notre Dame's bubble sort of burst this weekend.
I hope so. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hope so. I'm praying Wisconsin beats them just because I don't want them in the discussion because I don't think they're that good. It's not that they're bad, but they could have easily lost to Florida State and didn't.
Yep.
They could have lost their second game to Toledo and somehow escaped that one. And I don't think they looked all that impressive at all against Purdue. The question, I think the biggest question mark right now is the hype surrounding Spencer Rattler at Oklahoma. He had so much hype coming in. I'm not blown away with him. I've talked to some people that are pretty close, that are a couple of students down at Oklahoma as well. They're in the media down there. And they say that Spencer Rattler has all the talent, but his football IQ is lacking at this point in his career. Where are you on Spencer Rattler right now?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is coming into this season, top-of-the-line quarterbacks across college football was just sort of a mixed bag. And we as media members had to pick 4 or 5 guys that we thought were the Heisman front runners, or so to speak, and some of those guys just haven't played all that well. I mean, we saw Sam Howell throw 3 picks in the opener. Spencer Rattler through 3 games outside of Western Carolina has not looked like a top 5 pick in next year's draft. And DJ Uiagalelei might be the most disappointing elite quarterback right now, through his start at Clemson. So I don't think there's been a whole lot of excellent quarterback play at the top of college football, and that's not just Spencer Rattler. But if Oklahoma is trying to be a playoff team like they were last season this fall, Spencer Rattler has to play better, as well as Oklahoma's rushing attack. I mean, that offense has got to play better than it is right now because the defense looks as advertised as everybody thought.
Brad, speaking of, you brought up the preseason rankings and stuff like that. There's a couple teams, man, that were really high, a whole lot of expectations. Miami and North Carolina. I need to ask you, where did Miami miss the ball as far as the continuation of what they had? They're out of the top 25 right now. Then you got a North Carolina team that got boat raced by a team in Virginia Tech, and then Virginia Tech's dropped the ball. Where is that conference for the most part anyway right now? Is it just not good?
Yeah, North Carolina's a team that I haven't sold all of my stock on yet. I think you can get in at a pretty cheap price right now with the Tar Heels, and that still might be a 10-win team at the end. But, yeah, Virginia Tech really, outside of that opening night win over the Tar Heels, hadn't looked that impressive to me. Losing that game at West Virginia, they weren't supposed to win, I guess, by the odds makers, but that's still a game that Justin Fuente needed to have. And then Miami just kind of fell off the face of the earth. If Florida State wasn't so bad, guys, we'd be talking about Manny Diaz being on the hot seat, and Mike Norvell has sort of saved him by face planting at 0-3. But I don't think Miami's tough enough at the line of scrimmage, and that's something that we saw toward the end of last season when North Carolina came into Coral Gables and rushed for 550 yards or something like that. So of those 3 ACC teams you guys mentioned, though, I think North Carolina's a team that can still run the table, but they got to get the defense worked out. They beat Virginia 59-39 Saturday night and gave up 650 yards offense. So that's not going to work the rest of the way if Mac Brown's team's going to try to win out.
Brad Crawford, 24/7 Sports, with us here on JMart and Ramon this morning. I want to go back to Arkansas real fast. Sam Pittman's doing a hell of a job. I love his attitude. He seems perfect for them. The fans have embraced them. How real do you think they are? I know, the big game Saturday, we're going to learn more about them. But when you watch them, contender, pretender, how good is Arkansas right now?
I think Arkansas is an 8-4 team. And I think at 3-0, Hog fans will probably tell you, we'd be very disappointed if we finish with 4 losses. But look, I need to see what Arkansas does in an SEC road environment against a good team. That win over Texas, while it was good, I mean, it was set up perfectly. It's a home night game, most fans ever inside Razorback Stadium, and it was Hudson Card's first road start for Texas, Steve Sarkisian's second game. So this isn't, a mighty top 10 Texas or anything. So the jury's still out, guys, on KJ Jefferson, Arkansas's quarterback. I think when a SEC opponent finally stops Arkansas's rushing attack, are the Razorbacks going to be able to win through the air? And outside of last week's game against Georgia Southern, they have not had explosive plays in the passing game. So I'm looking forward to seeing this weekend's game, though. I'm not sold on A&M yet either. After losing Haynes King, we don't know if backup quarterback Zach Calzada is going to be able to, keep them within the top 10 and sort of within striking distance of Bama. So that's a huge game for both teams, and I think the loser of that game in Arlington is probably headed toward a 8-4 season.
So I think maybe the biggest story in college football currently is USC and what's going to happen with that job. Obviously, Dante had a pretty good first game, but he also had Washington State as the opponent on the other side that helped that out. Slovis can play. We already know they have a lot of talent there. The cupboard's not bare. If you're making the decision, who's the short list? Who do you make tell you no when it comes to the next hire at SC?
I make James Franklin tell me no first off, and my second call would be to Luke Fickell. And I think if Luke Fickell's offered that job, he would take it. He's the best G5 coach out there right now. I thought he might have been a candidate at Ohio State before they promoted, Ryan Day about 3 years ago. So Luke's a guy who seems surprisingly pretty happy at Cincinnati, and now that Cincinnati's joined the Big 12, he's going to be in a P5 conference and be able to make that playoff every year with a chance to win that conference. But, USC, when it's good, is a top 10 job. I'm not buying it being a top 5 job like a lot of these analysts say.
Right.
But there's recruiting out there. I mean, the next head coach could only sign players in California and still win 11 games because there's that much talent out there. So I think the next head coach has to be a great recruiter, and James Franklin and Luke Fickell are two guys who can bring that to SoCal.
You brought up Sarkisian in Texas, and you, of course, Jace is not sold on Oklahoma, and neither am I, just to throw that out there. What are these two teams going to look like in the SEC, considering what we've seen thus far? I mean, Sarkisian we thought was just going to flip the switch, and Texas is going to be back.
You might have. I didn't. I didn't buy into that.
I was giving them that because, I know Alabama's different, but Texas is – I feel the same way as you do about this. And just if you recruit in Texas, you should win big.
Yeah, there's mega booster support at both programs. Look, I mean, if the SEC could have handpicked two teams in college football to join their league, it would have been Oklahoma and Texas on the, very short list of 3 to 5 teams. And they're going to bring a lot of pizzazz, I guess, to the SEC. And I don't know if Lincoln Riley is going to be able to make the playoffs every season like he has been doing at Oklahoma when he's facing 6 or 7 ranked teams a year instead of, his toughest game being Oklahoma State or somebody. Mm-hmm. But it's going to be, 3 to 5 years from now, I think we're going to be talking about Texas and Oklahoma both being contenders at the top of the SEC. And the most interesting aspect of this to me is going to be, how do these decision makers within the conference split these divisions? Are we going to no divisions? Are we going to, pods of groups of 4? It's going to be very interesting to see, which programs maybe have schedule favorability and which ones do not.
Are you surprised at any of the performances from the first-year head coaches in the SEC?
Shane Beamer is a little bit ahead of schedule right now at South Carolina than I thought he would be. If you would have asked me in August, how this game Saturday night against Kentucky would go, I'd probably say Kentucky by, 2 or 3 touchdowns. But the line's 5 in that game. And now we're talking about if South Carolina wins that game against the Wildcats, Gamecocks are probably going to a bowl game this season, 3-1 after 4 games when the preseason total was 3.5 wins. So I think Shane Beamer's ahead of schedule, and Josh Heupel right now. Look, he's a couple stops away from being 3-0. I thought he'd be 3-0 after 3 games at Tennessee, but we're going to know more about the Vols this weekend against Florida. Going against a Gators team coming off that emotional high game against Bama.
All right, that's where I'm going right now, Brad.
Yep.
This is the first leg of the gauntlet of Florida, Georgia, Alabama. How do we see the Vols potentially being able to go down there and compete this weekend in the Swamp?
Yeah, I think the spread at 20.5 points is way too much in that game. I've watched all of Tennessee's games so far. I've seen pretty much every snap, and I think Hendon Hooker at quarterback is their best option. I like the way Tennessee has split out its receivers a little bit further toward the sidelines this season, and Josh Heupel's done a good job so far, in my opinion, of getting Tennessee's playmakers in space. So I think they can compete with Florida Saturday. I don't like them against Georgia or Alabama. I mean, if Tennessee's going to win one of these next 3 games, it would be against Florida, in my opinion. It's not going to happen, but it might be close.
I'm going to ask you this on the way out real fast, Brad, just because we always end up asking you some kind of weird question. What's your favorite Jordan shoe?
My favorite Jordan sneaker is probably Jordan 1.
Okay, we agree. That's mine too.
Yeah, I mean it's a Jordan 1, and I like these weathered effects now that Jordan brand and Nike are putting on these sneakers. I mean when I was in high school, fellas, I used to walk to like not bend my toes in my sneakers.
Yeah.
And now the style is, beat them up as much as you can because they look better creased. So it's just crazy how things have changed.
The ones were so slept on for so long.
I love them, man. They're just so timeless.
Oh, yeah.
Such a timeless shoe.
They're not very comfortable, but they're hot looking.
I actually think they are.
Interesting.
They're too thin for me, man.
Man, I love the look, though, man. I appreciate us being on the same page, Brad.
Brad, we appreciate you, brother, always. Thanks so much.
Thanks, y'all.
Yeah, man. That's Brad Crawford. He got it right.
Hey, he ain't wrong.
He got it right. JMart Ramon here, 104.5 The Zone.
He said, my Vols, if they're going to compete against anybody, it's Florida. Won't win, and that's what do you expect?
The SC answer? I think that's the right answer. I agree. I'm not the biggest fan of just the kind of phony nature.
Right.
James Franklin's really good, and he will recruit like crazy out there. He will bring all the celebrities back. Snoop and those guys will love him.
Penn State, though.
Dude, he is about the show. If there's anything James Franklin is about, it's the show. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Penn State fills out 106,000 without effort. And to me, the whiteout is the best looking thing in all of college sports.
That atmosphere on
It's
Saturday.
so good, man. When they do the whiteout stuff, especially if it's snowing and they do the whiteout, it just looks like it's another galaxy.
Okay, but if he leaves, can Penn State sustain?
Yeah, because they'll get a great hire. Okay. They'll get another really, really good hire, I would think. But I'm not saying he will leave. I am saying that's who I agree with Brad Crawford 1,000,000%. That's who I go and say, yeah, you tell me no before I move on.
What do they say? Where's there smoke, there's a fire.
Mm-hmm.
You think he's got his matches in the back of his office right now, just looking at the?
Well, I mean, whether or not this is leverage to get more money, or he's seriously considering, or both. Maybe let's see what they offer me out of this, but I might still want to take the USC job.
The Pac-12 kind of need this.
He is an energy guy. He's the closest thing they will have had to a Pete Carroll type in terms of come on back, Pied Piper style.
He might be looking at USC the way Rick Barnes was looking at UCLA.
Yeah, very true.
Okay.
No question about that.
Now, I was talking to Roger a little bit yesterday, and he was just talking about, like, if you ain't hot, they're not going to come.
Right.
He was just like, man, they got better things to do with their time. They'd rather go surf.
No, that's absolutely right. They have so much they have so much competition for the entertainment dollar and the entertainment eyeball out there. There's so much to do. You do have to win. But that dude's won everywhere he's been.
Yeah, if he leaves, they sustain at Penn State because it is a legitimate top 10 job.
Yes, it is. Because they're going to come out even if they're losing. It's that kind of job.
But it's also this, though, too. It's the recruiting aspect that you talk about Franklin bringing.
He's a Pied Piper. Whether you like him or his act or not, he is the Pied Piper. When we come back, I've been wanting to talk about this for a while. There's a reboot coming to Peacock.
Oh, my God.
Have we run out of ideas in entertainment? We go off on Bel Air when we come back. JMart Ramon, 104.5 The Zone.
Coming up today on Blaine and Mickey.
What happens with the Vols in Gainesville this weekend? We're going to discuss that in hour one.
And week 2 in the NFL was in the books. It did not disappoint. Jordan Dajani of CBS Sports discusses all of it at 2:20.
Today, starting at 1 p.m. on 104.5 The Zone.
Hey, it's Ramon, and Nashville is one of the hottest housing markets in America. If you're selling your home and want to know how much you can get for it here in Nashville and want a good price, great price, check out Open Door. Open Door invented a whole new way to sell your home, one without all the hassles and hurdles of you listing your home, showing your home off, and all of the unknowns that come with that. Go to opendoor.com enter your address and tell them a little bit about your house, the best parts, and they'll make you an offer in minutes. You get to skip all the hard parts of this ordeal. You have to make the repairs yourself, do any of the prep works, or a bunch of showings. You can get your free offer at opendoor.com/myoffer. That's opendoor.com/myoffer. Offer eligibility varies, and Open Door is represented by Open Door Brokerage, Inc. License 02061130 in California, Open Door Brokerage, LLC, in its other markets.
How real do I give it? So real. How real do I give it? So real. So real that Caesars will give you some authentic NFL gear when you bet $100 in September. So download the app and get live in-game betting, parlays, Caesars rewards, and some authentic NFL gear. I'm an official sponsor of the NFL, people!
Must be 21. Offer valid in Tennessee only and for new and existing users who opt into this offer. Jersey awarded as a gift card. Options may vary. Terms and conditions apply. See Caesars.com/promos. Gambling problem? Call or text the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Meet Brian Bridges. He's the owner of a tattoo shop in Nashville. Although Brian is used to getting email requests for tattoos, he was surprised when he saw one from a well-known celebrity in Los Angeles. So he turned to his American Express Business Platinum Card, which lets him earn 5 times membership rewards points on flights and prepaid hotels booked through AmexTravel.com. Talk about the sweet life. Built for business by American Express. This story features a fictional character from a fictional business. Terms apply. Learn more at AmericanExpress.com/businessplatinum. Don't do business without it.
We buy any car. We buy any car. We buy any car. Any. We buy any car. Any make, any model, any age, any price from $50 to $100,000. We buy any car. We buy any car. Any. We buy any car. Sell your car the easy way. Go online and sell it today. We buy any car. Any. Find out how much your car's worth at We Buy Any Car.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. Mortgage rates drop again, creating opportunities for refinancing everywhere. At thehomeloanexpert.com, we are locking loans in the low twos, saving our clients hundreds, even thousands of dollars a month with a simple refinance. And with our 21-day closing guarantee, you know we will not waste your time. The 5-minute loan approval, only available at thehomeloanexpert.com.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Hey, it's Schaefer with JMart and Ramon. Get your payout before the game's out with BetMGM. Place a moneyline wager on any Thursday night game, and if your team is up by 10 or more points at halftime, you win. That's a full payout for only half the game, no matter what happens the rest of the way. Simply go to your BetMGM account and opt in each week to the Thursday night halftime payout promotion. Want to continue wagering in the third quarter? Keep it rolling with BetMGM's extensive live betting options. Need to hit the sack early? Use your winnings to place a one-game parlay on Sunday and go for gridiron glory. If you're new to BetMGM, download the app today and see how you can turn halftime into cash time. Make a moneyline bet on Thursday night, and if your team is up by 10 or more, you'll win at the half. Only at BetMGM. Opt-in required. Must be 21 years or older. Must be in Tennessee to bet. Visit BetMGM.com for full list of terms and conditions. For problem gambling support, call the Tennessee Red Line, 800-889-97.
40 westbound is closed between Fairview-Dixon and 840 due to a crash. 40 eastbound before Fairview-Dixon, an accident blocks the left shoulder. Cockrell Bend, Old Hickory Boulevard at Ashland City Highway. We've got an accident with emergency crews on the scene. Metro Center, 65 northbound after Rosa Parks Boulevard, an accident blocks the 2 left lanes. Talbot's Corner, 65 southbound, an accident at the ramp to 24. Clarksville, 24 westbound before Rossview Road. We've got reports of a crash. I'm Christy O'Brien with traffic on your home for Titans football. 104.5 The Zone.
Dave Matthews Band. 7, the name of this tune. 7 is the theme of the day. For a preposterous nothing reason, because that's what we do on this show. It's JMart Ramon. What'd you say?
None whatsoever.
No, who cares? That's all. It doesn't matter. The reason is the reason.
Hey, you speaking my language.
That's it. That's Ramon Foster, Jonathan Schaefer, Jason Martin, boys with you until 10 a.m. this morning. Players of the week in the NFL have been named. Offense, Kyler Murray for the NFC. Mike Edwards, safety for the Bucs on defense. Mitch Wishnowsky on special teams, 49ers punter. AFC, defense, Ravens edge, Owe. Daniel Carlson, Raiders kicker for special teams. And offense, a little guy by the name of Derrick Henry.
2-2.
Yet again.
2-2, baby.
Maybe his most complete game in terms of being able to receive the ball, what he did as a blocker in pass protection, and certainly the way he ran the football.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been wanting to talk about this for at least a week now. We have all these reboots now in Hollywood. Everything, you're going to reboot every movie or recast all this stuff that's not even 20 years old. We're going to do it again. Television shows. Now, if you want to update something, you can update something, right? Like the Saved by the Bell Bayside that they put out, like actually good, and using the original characters in new roles, kind of bringing up, like, I understand why you would do something like that. I get that. Cobra Kai's fantastic. Great example. Bel Air. Yes, folks, they are rebooting The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air as a drama with completely new cast. I got to just start right here, Mo.
Yeah. If
you are making this, if Will's not in it, what are we doing here?
I don't want to see a guy acting like Will.
I can't.
Will should be Uncle Phil. Like, take some of the old group.
At least. But even that, how about just don't do it, because the show still holds up now. Like, I'm still going back watching the reruns again on HBO Max. Still holds up. It's still funny.
It's so good to me.
Yes.
I've got the hard copy and I got the digital
because
I want to put it in the DVD player.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at with The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
I've owned DVDs for that show for I don't know how long. There's no reason to remake it. And it just leads to it's dead on arrival for me. Like, I have zero interest in watching this.
And that's my part of it is Will Smith is by far one of the coolest people on social media. I feel like in real life he might actually be that cool. Might be a little introverted because he's got to act a lot. You know what I'm saying? But he'd be a cool dude. I don't want to see him have a sick fail. That's where I am with some of my heroes. Like, I don't want to see my heroes fail.
Well, I mean, he has failed. He's a guy that needed to say no to some movie
on a
roles.
sitcom.
He's
though,
made
like,
some terrible,
but not on Fresh Prince though.
Well, yeah. I mean, that was one television show, and yes, I just don't know why you remake this, because one, the other one is timeless, and two, no one was asking for this. When I saw this, I was like, who was clamoring for a Bel-Air remake with an entirely new cast? That entire cast was nearly perfect. With James Avery, who's passed away now, Uncle Phil. Obviously, Tatiana Ali did a great job.
Yep.
Karen Parsons, that played Hillary, was fantastic.
Yep.
Alfonso Ribeiro, I mean, they're recasting Carlton. Like, what are you doing here? There are certain shows where the original cast is so iconic that trying to recreate it wrecks it. They are continually thinking about rebooting Back to the Future. And I want to drop kick whoever's trying to make that decision into the sun, because you cannot do this.
There's a full list that were released this year on reboots that are coming out. It's a few, Jay, that I kind of want to name that you're going to be upset with. It's from theinsider.com, man. But this Bel-Air one.
Like, I know Will's associated with it. I don't care, though. Like, I just you can't recreate this world.
Trying to redo Bewitched.
Well, I mean, they had made a movie of Bewitched years ago with Nicole Kidman as well. And that's a 60s show. At least you're rebooting something that's, 30, 40 years old or something like that. 60s may be wrong, but many decades ago.
Conan the Barbarian?
Yeah, I mean, that's an 80s movie.
You want to see that one redone?
Not really, because I wasn't a fan of that
Jetsons?
property. Jetsons is a 60s, I think, show as well.
More 70s,
70s.
I think. Yeah.
Rugrats are talking about?
It's too new.
I don't need what they can do it like 3D Pixar. Is that what they're looking at? Something like that.
Actually, Grease.
Well, I mean, that's an aged product if you want to try and bring it up. They're doing West Side Story again this year. Spielberg's got a new version of that coming out at the big screen. I understand rebooting properties, but here's the underlier, right? Like the new Wonder Years starts tonight. That's another example of it. Okay. Hollywood's out of ideas. Eventually you run out of ideas, and it seems like no one has any creativity anymore because it's just iterating over what else has already been
Can
done.
I tweak that just a little bit? It's not that they're out of ideas, but they're out of ideas of how to sell ideas. That's why they keep recycling IP.
I'll say this, though. I think what Disney has done with their sitcoms that they have or shows that they're doing as far as just streaming on Disney have been good. The storylines behind all of those, I feel like, have been real solid. Falcon and
yeah, I mean those aren't reboots though.
I know they're not.
Those
but
are
as far as like
expansions of the
ideas,
universe.
but like ideas though, or like you said, are getting real short. It seemed like what is new?
Look, most shows. I'll say this real fast, and we'll get to break. But most television shows run too long. Almost all of them do, as a matter of fact. They run out of ideas in the 4th or 5th season. Then all of a sudden, somebody has a kid, or somebody moves away, or somebody ages out. As the Winslows got older, Family Matters got worse. As they focus more on Steve Urkel,
I still don't know how it ended.
they overdid it. I don't either because I stopped watching it when it changed networks. When it went to CBS, it was over for me. Like, there should be a shelf life. One of the reasons why Friday Night Lights is one of the great shows of all time is because it struggled ratings-wise the entire time. It was picked up by DirecTV after it was dropped by NBC in the 3rd year. It was done in the 5th year, and the 5th season was as good as the first. It had a little bit of a misstep in the 2nd year, but it ended before it could run too long.
Okay.
Most things do. Speaking of running too long, I don't want us to run too long.
Here
So
we
we
go.
get to the break. After the top of the hour headlines, it is Scout Meeting Wednesday. Your thoughts on Bel Air, by the way, you can drop them. I see some people saying, we should watch it before we kill it. I just don't want to watch it. I don't have any interest in it. I know Will's, cast the guy or whatever like that. I just looked at it and rolled my eyes and said, no. There's way too much other stuff to watch a rebooted drama version
I don't want to
of
see
one of
it
my favorite
ruined.
sitcoms. Exactly. And it may not be. It's just not for me.
I'm gonna check it out, but I just don't want to cringe when I watch it.
Maybe we will because we can talk about it on the air. We watched the first episode of it just to chat about it, but my impression is not positive right now. Scout Meeting Wednesday. We already broke down the offense in the first hour. We will break down the Colts defense that the Titans will experience on Sunday after the top of the hour headlines here on 104.5 The Zone.
Listening to Buck Rising will give you all the info you need on the Titans. And if you feel his opinion is wrong, he has a built-in excuse.
It's because I'm wearing long shorts today. My shorts come down to my knees. It's affecting
accident blocks the left shoulder. Cockrell Bend, Old Hickory Boulevard at Ashland City Highway. We've got an accident with emergency crews on the scene. Metro Center, 65 northbound after Rosa Parks Boulevard. An accident blocks the 2 left lanes. Talbot's Corner, 65 southbound. An accident at the ramp to 24. Clarksville, 24 westbound before Rossview Road. We've got reports of a crash. I'm Christy O'Brien with traffic on your home for Titans football. 104.5 The Zone.
From the WinBet Studio, Win with WinBet, WGFX Gallatin, Nashville. The Titans and the Colts. Kickoff is Sunday at noon on your home for Titans football. Trending now at 104.5 The Zone.
It is 8:01. Good morning. I'm Jonathan Schaefer. Major League Baseball action from yesterday. Atlanta defeated Arizona 6-1. Austin Riley hit his 30th home run of the season.
1-2 pitch. There is a drive to deep left center field. He just knocked that ball out. Wow! Austin Riley about 20 rows deep over the left field wall, and it's 2-0 Braves.
Well, the Braves needed the win as the Phillies also won. Atlanta maintained their 3-game lead in the NL East. The boys in gold in action tonight. Nashville SC travels to Inter Miami CF. Nashville is in second place in the Eastern Conference, 3 points ahead of New York City FC and Orlando SC. Kickoff set for 6:30. Derrick Henry named the AFC Offensive Player of the Week after his stellar performance against the Seahawks. The Titans did waive safety Bradley McDougald and defensive lineman Anthony Rush. And the SEC released its 2022 football schedule. The Vols will have a 3-game stretch where they host Florida on September 24th, travel to LSU on October 8th, and host Alabama on October 15th. That's next year's schedule. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once. And here with the Titans and the Vols, this is 104.5 The Zone.
Do I have everybody's attention now?
Now it's time for Jason Martin and Vol for Life Ramon Foster.
Powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors.
Together, they are JMart and Ramon on 104.5 The Zone.
What's happening? Hour number 3, J-Mart and Ramon. 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors in Nashville. Along with 11-year NFL veteran Vol for Life, Ramon Foster, Jonathan Schaefer. I'm Jason Martin at Ramon Foster, at Schaefer on Sports, at J-Mart Radio, at J-Mart and Ramon. Mike Tanier, Football Outsiders, brings the snark. In about 15 minutes, always a good conversation there. Frostbite on Twitter. Actually, no, on YouTube, on the chat. We'll give him top observation this hour. Top ob, he actually ats Ron Slay, who is saying way too much right now in the chat. He says, swimming to work. You know how it is in Nashville, first day of fall and all. It is the first day of fall, and people are swimming. I'm about over it with the rain. I don't know about you. I'm about over it with the rain.
I feel I'm not opposed to the rain. I actually like the rain because I feel like I'm always doing something, and the rain actually slows me down a little bit, man.
It's because you live on a hill.
Well, yeah, that's true too. I will not deny that. We got to have our kickback one weekend too. We've yet to get to that point where we're sitting on the back. By the way, guys,
send it in.
Some renovations are coming to the back porch.
Oh.
We're going to close that thing in.
I thought it was done already. I thought you already did that.
I'm waiting on my quote on it, man. I'm waiting on my quote. It shouldn't take long.
I mean, you're going to pay it in cash.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, I am.
By the way, Cronky just mentioned this. I just saw that name pop up on Twitch. That I love the rain. It's the sounds. I agree. I love being inside and it's raining.
Yeah.
Just when I know I've got to drive somewhere at 4:45 in the morning.
Oh, well, yeah.
Well, here's the other one that you haven't mentioned yet. It's because of the dog.
Yes.
Because when I had dogs and it was raining,
yes,
it was because of the dogs.
Yeah. Fair point.
But back to this back porch situation real quick. We're getting it enclosed.
Back to the lecture at hand.
Back to the lecture at hand.
Let them understand.
Stogies, some spirits, and an enclosed back porch with the fireplace lit, watching some games. Is that something you want to be a part of?
Yeah.
And Notre Dame.
And no, was it this time last year?
Yeah, it was.
We were Notre
Dame.
Clark Lee, baby.
That was the original big time demerit, I think.
And here's the
One
thing:
of the biggest
no
demerits.
one noticed but me.
Then we did, and then it was grand opening, grand closing. All right,
baby.
speaking of opening, how about you open the scouting notebook? Let's
Here we
talk
go.
about the Colts defense, which we know is solid.
I can't bring up the Colts defense without bringing up this person in particular. It was brought up earlier. I forget who it was in the zone chat, but Nico Autry.
Absolutely.
He's not on that defense, but you'd expect a little spite. Go back on the Titans.com, TennesseeTitans.com, and look at his intro interview to when he became a Titan and signed. You heard a whole lot of angst. You heard a whole lot of, I'm going to get you when I see you.
I'm going to get you, sucker.
I'm going to get you, sucker, man. But this defense, man.
Julia Roberts was awesome in that. Go ahead.
Actually, I thought it was Blair Underwood. No, that was actually
No, it's Carrie Underwood.
Carrie Underwood. But as a whole right now, again, it's week 2. This defense ranks about 23rd in the league, man. It's the beginning. We'll see how it all shakes out. This defense is led by 2 guys, man. Darius Leonard and DeForest Buckner. Think about this week as the same way I honestly feel about Arizona. Darius Leonard is a big linebacker. He's 6'2", 230. It's going to be interesting to see this component of this game between him and Derrick Henry. As far as who's going to turn down what. That is the matchup I'm looking for this weekend, is those two going to – not that they're going to be on each other, but big linebackers versus a big back. I feel like it's something to watch when playing against Derrick Henry. He is the highest paid linebacker in the league unless that's changed. He's that good. He's everywhere on making plays at the line of scrimmage, dropping in coverage. He's a complete linebacker, man. 2 first-team All-Pros already, which warranted that contract in which he's gotten, man. Solid guy from a small school. That's one thing I say about it. If you're good, they will find you, man. South Carolina State. DeForest Buckner is a handful. I didn't really know a whole lot about him other than he was a solid player when I played against him. I left that game in San Francisco when we played out there. Like, I respect this dude. He's long. He's everything. You know, you meet somebody like Ron Slay. He's like, man, I'm 6'8". In reality, he's like 6'6" and like 3/4 or something.
Yeah. Wow, that was
I know he's listening. I got to take my shots when I can.
Man.
Don't never go against a person with unlimited ink or microphone, right?
Just been a dry ice bomb in his mailbox.
It's just real quick drive-by on Ron Slay. But DeForest Buckner, he's 6'7", legitly. He's 295. He is long arm, can work outside, inside, no plays off type of dude. He will pick his spots in where he's going to go. If Safo's out, you can see him all across the middle of this offensive front, man. Long rangey, bull rush is insane. Also, the thing that gets me with him, he's got long arms. If he's there trying to get to Tanier, he can reach him, is what I'm saying. Block him with 2. Defensive end, Al-Quandid Muhammad. I said this before at the end of the last hour. I think he's the reason why they didn't sign back Danico Autry.
Because they felt like he was the heir apparent?
Yes. They picked him up off of the Saints practice squad when they released him, and he's been in their program and just working with them. He actually is leading the team and wanting to have sacks. To know a little bit about him, he said his big influence was when Justin Houston got there. And we know that guy to be an insane rusher. He had one huge play, man, that can't go unnoticed. He was rushing off the edge, beat an offensive guy, and then ran down Lamar Jackson in the pocket. So it shows you his speed and his range. Again, I think it may have been a decision between him and Danico Autry. Kwity Paye, the first-round draft pick out of Michigan, he's playing a role right now, along with the name that you love, Grover.
Oh, man.
Stewart. Grover, though, last year got stiff-armed by Derrick Henry.
I don't even care, man. His name's Grover.
His name is Grover. I'll say this, too. Other than Xavier Rhodes, this is a very youthful secondary. Mm-hmm. This is a very youthful defense. Mm-hmm. They can either go 2 ways, one or 2 ways. They're going to be flying over everywhere and making plays because they're dumb enough or young enough to actually just find where they need to go. Or you can find cracks in their inexperience and take advantage of them.
So there could be guys that are taking risks, trying to make the big highlight reel play instead of the solid play. And as a result, you could end up with some big chunk plays down the field.
Or find an experienced guy like Julio, go in, go out, and just work a young secondary guy, man. There's nobody off on this defense that has more than 9 years. So, again, the inexperience is there, but they do have a lot of pedigree on this team. They're committed to playing hard, nose ball, very edgy, and everyone on this defense, like I said, is 9 years and less. So they got their hands full as far as youth, the Titans do, but as a whole, should be able to handle this defense. Should be able to. It starts up front, though. Like I said, Darius Leonard and what he does, and watching DeForest Buckner, like I said, Kwity Paye can be a problem, and also Muhammad off the edge, too.
One thing I would say about the Colts, to back up your point there, is look at the Rams against the Bears in week 1. Bears have some very talented defensive players, Roquan and certainly Khalil Mack, and they've got guys, right? And Stafford had a perfect passer rating against them.
Whoa.
Stafford didn't look quite as good against the Colts defense. My point being, the Colts have some dudes. They have some guys that you got to watch out for, as you've just laid out pretty clearly.
And to that point, if we're going to see the backup this weekend, that defense is probably going to surround that offense and say, hey, we got your back. We know we got to play a little bit harder because, like I said, I expect AJ to have a bounce-back week. I know that to be true. And if they're smart, they try to take over that secondary, that young secondary. Rocky Scene, I think is his name. He's on that team. A lot of people are high on him coming out of Maryland, I think. But I remember us looking at him. It was like, nah, we'll pass on that one. But he's a starter. He's got NFL experience now. We'll see how it works. Rocky Scene, that's a heck of a name right there.
When we come back on the other side, Mike Tanier of Football Outsiders, one of our favorites. He's the one that wrote some unflattering stuff about the Titans a week ago. I imagine he would change up a little bit based on what happened on Sunday. It is a week-to-week league, and you can only speak. I mean, look, they look terrible against Arizona. Nothing else to say about that. I'm not sure it was him that said this, but I think the Texans were like a 7.5-point dog coming up Sunday, or no, Thursday against the Panthers. Tomorrow against the Panthers, like when they opened up, people were like, you better jump all over that because Davis Mills is terrible. Because now you got Tyrod on IR. Yeah. Poor guy can't catch a break, man. Well, as Schaefer said yesterday, he catches a lot of breaks.
All the breaks.
Well, it's unfortunate. But Mike Tanier will join us. We'll ask him what his thoughts are, what his game notes are from the first 2 weeks of the NFL. What 2-0 teams are real? Yeah. And which ones are phony?
Nosedive.
Again, it's early, but man, that's what we do. You react week after week. So Mike Tanier, Football Outsiders, will join us on the other side. You won't want to miss it here. JMart Ramon, 104.5 The Zone.
It's the two best teams in the AFC South as the Titans and Colts go at it from Nissan Stadium with early positioning in the division on the line.
It's going to be a good test.
Coverage starts Sunday morning at 9. Then the kickoff at noon on your home for Titans football. 104.5 The Zone.
It's been a great start to the NFL season, and it's only getting better at the DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. DraftKings is kicking off another week of action by giving all new customers, even the ones that yawn like crazy, a can't-miss offer. Betting just $1 on any football game this week and receive $150 in free bets instantly. No matter what. Sleeping, it doesn't matter. You're going to get it. Just sign up. And this football season, all customers can swing big with the DraftKings same-game parlays. We've heard a lot about parlays lately, haven't we? But the same-game parlays allows you to combine multiple bets for a bigger payout. This week, place a same-game parlay on any NFL game, and you will be credited up to $25 if you lose the bet. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. And the best part about that is you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want it. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code WGFX to receive $150 in free bets instantly when you place a $1 bet on any football game. That's promo code, though, WGFX to get $150 in free bets instantly. This week at the DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. You must be 21 years and older and present in Tennessee to bet. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call the Texas Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
The night the stars come out to say happy birthday in front of the purple building that started it all. Tootsie's 60th anniversary birthday bash, Tuesday, October the 5th. See Jelly Roll, Montgomery,
Fairview, 40 westbound closed between Fairview, Dixon, and 840 due to a crash. Eastbound, the left shoulder also blocked by that accident. Talbot's Corner, 65 southbound at 24. A crash partially blocks the on-ramp. 65 northbound after Rosa Parks Boulevard at Metro Center. We've got an accident in the left lane. This report brought to you by the Tennessee Lottery. The Powerball jackpot is now up to $490 million. Plus, you can choose the double play add-on for a second chance to win up to $10 million. Hurry into any Tennessee Lottery retailer and play today for your chance to win big. Next drawing is tonight. I'm Christy O'Brien with traffic on your home for Titans football. 104.5 The Zone.
Just like the white-winged dove sings a song, sounds like she's singing.
Theme of the show, just because randomly we mentioned Ben Roethlisberger's jersey number in the first segment, off of something Mike Tannenbaum had said, is the number 7. So that's the theme. So all the music's been 7 related. This is Stevie Nicks' Edge of 17. A little bit of a reach, but we'll take it.
Take it?
We'll accept it.
You going to turn down a Stevie Nicks song?
Waiting for 7 Mary 3 to make an appearance before the end of the show.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. There's a lot of... Look, man. This is what I do for a living.
That's what I do.
Spin words. That's Ramon Foster talking
Jeremy
in the background.
McNipple.
Yes, I said Jeremy McNipple. Sue me. Jeremy McNipple. Hope he gets cut just for that reason. Just kidding. Hope he stays with the team forever. It's not like you're gonna stop playing the drop just because he loses his job. So
I mean, that's
I'm just
true,
kidding. I'm just kidding.
You know what?
That is a demerit.
Ramon Foster. That was Jonathan Schaefer giving me a demerit. I'm Jason Martin. Guests appear via the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline, including one of our favorites, Mike Tanier, Football Outsiders. Mike, how are you this morning?
You guys play one Stevie Nicks song, and all of a sudden, Jeremy McNipples. Come on.
Look, man,
Come on, settle down. That song's 40 years old. Settle down. You guys, I don't even know what to say about that. And also, isn't Ryan Tanier number 17? Isn't your quarterback number 17? Yep. He's on the edge of 17.
That's fair. That is fair. I'm going to read this directly. They have played 6 miserable quarters and 3 really good ones, counting overtime through 2 games. That amounts to a .333 average, which is terrible in most contexts, but more than sufficient in Major League Baseball and the AFC South. Now I'm going to pour some water in Buck Nasty's mama's dish, Mike. That's what you wrote about the Tennessee Titans after defeating the Seahawks. What is the state of the Titans, in your opinion, right now?
The state of the Titans right now is that they're the best team in the AFC South. Mm-hmm. And I need to see more of what I saw in the second half against the Seahawks. And, you know, as much as concerned as how the offense doesn't look particularly creative, how the defense doesn't seem to be generating enough pass rush most of the time. Looks like the kicker problem is solved for now, but the kicker problem is always lurking. That's all the bad news. The good news is you have no idea whether you're going to face Jacob Eason or Carson Wentz on 2 sprained ankles next week, and that's kind of the state of the division you're in right now. If you can get to okay, if you can get to a little bit above average, you're going to be crushing it for the rest of the year.
Mike, can I ask you a question? How do you go about spraining both ankles?
It's a Carson Wentz mystery, folks. You know, I'm watching the news and I'm waiting for a Carson Wentz injury update that makes sense. And I realize in Philadelphia, where I'm based, I've been doing this for the past 4 years. All I've been doing is waiting for a logical explanation for what's going on with Carson Wentz, and that's the experience that Indianapolis fans are going through right now, and that's the joy that you have in Tennessee right now. Because if he really decides to run out there and prove his toughness by getting cortisone shots, he won't get a COVID shot, but he got 2 cortisone shots in each leg. That's a big win for the Tennessee Titans because he's going to be immobile and he's going to be a mess.
Mike, I heard what you said under your breath right there. You just kind of let that one slide right on in. That worked very effectively for you. That was a great, Ramon just looked at me like, ooh.
Mike with a drive-by.
Well, Jeremy McNipple option on my end, too.
I love it, man. So, is this team better or worse without Carson Wentz? I mean, I know they're putting a backup in, but the fact that he can't stay on the field and they are already 0-2 with his starts, what more can they lose this week? Does this actually make them more dangerous with a quarterback with no film on him?
Yeah, maybe that no film thing does work to a degree. And, we saw Eason for about 10 seconds. He threw an interception right to Jalen Ramsey on Sunday. But whatever. He's out there. He's trailing. He got thrown into the game. Look, Carson was able to move the ball down the field and then throw shovel pass interceptions at the goal line, get sacked out of field goal range, do all these other things. And when you're making those kind of mistakes in those high leverage situations, you might as well have the second-year guy. You might as well have the guy who never played, because you're not getting that veteran experience. You're not getting he's taking care of the ball, and that's going to help us, score points and avoid mistakes. If you're not getting that, you might as well try the other guy anyway, especially as the main guy has 2 sprained ankles right now.
Yeah, so the Titans, one more question about the Titans specifically. They got 6 straight AFC games. They're bookended with the Colts. They've got the Bills and Chiefs in there, and they've got the Jets and Jaguars in there. How important, when you look at the Titans and you look at an AFC, that there's just a lot of teams that could make the playoffs potentially. There's not a lot of terrible teams in that conference. That 6-game stretch, when you're looking at the Titans as they stand right now, how do you sense they will do in a 6-game AFC stretch that could well determine their season?
All right, so I'm going to pencil in Colts win this week. Jets win, Jaguars win, and you're at 4-1 right there. Bills, Chiefs, Colts afterwards. If you get a 2-1 stretch in that, you're in excellent condition. That means you either beat the Bills, you beat the Chiefs, the Colts are just a complete mess or whatever. You go 1-2 in that, it's bearable. If you start taking losses to any of these teams, you know that that's a problem. I don't have to tell the listeners that that's a problem right now. But there's 2 phases for the Titans right now. It's like I have almost penciled them into the playoffs as the division champion right now. And it's premature to do that, but I've kind of done that. We all watch the Texans. We all watch the Jaguars. We talked about the Wentz situation. I need to see this team up against the Chiefs, up against the Bills, looking good, looking like they looked in the second half and, in overtime really against the Seahawks. Need to see more of that before I look at this Titans team and say anything other than, oh, well, you know what, maybe it's 10-7, and you go out there and you get hammered by one of these Bills Chiefs in the playoffs. Make sure you can show me right now that you can beat those teams in the regular season.
So you're not of the belief, we'll drop one now and get one later. Like, you want to see them dominate those 2 games in particular, Bills and Chiefs, or at least compete kind of like how Cleveland did against Kansas City.
Yeah, give me a 1-1 in those games. And also, while we're on the topic of the Jets and Jaguars in particular, beat the snot out of them.
Yeah.
Demonstrate, because that's what happens. Really good playoff teams, they don't necessarily win all the close games. Sometimes they go 500 against the other competitors, but you can tell who they are by the way they beat the daylights out of opponents like the Jets, out of the Jaguars. So let's see that. Let's see this complete game. Let's see Derrick Henry have 165 yards, but doesn't wait until the third quarter to get going. That is part of the whole game. Let's see the game plans look a little bit more creative, because I'm still worried about those game plans that we're seeing from your new coordinator there. Ooh. Let's see all that in these gimme games, and then let's see good, strong competition in this tight game.
3 2-0 teams. One of them plays tomorrow night with Carolina and Matt Rule. Then you got John Gruden and Kingsbury. Like, the Raiders beat 2 teams from the AFC North in a 6-day span. The Cardinals embarrassed the Titans, outlasted the Vikings. Of those 3 teams, how many of those teams do you think are playoff teams?
I don't think the Panthers are a playoff team, because I think that the division's going to come back to haunt them, and they're in a really fluffy section of their schedule right now. I would probably go with the Raiders. I mean, one of the things that we do at Football Outsiders is we really look at the schedule moving forward. And one thing is that the AFC West schedules are pretty easy. These teams have a lot of softer teams coming down the pike. So these teams, like the Raiders, are in position to be the ones who get to the 10 wins, because they've beaten up on some weaker opponents, and they're getting the Dolphins this week without Tua, or possibly without Tua, or with a banged-up Tua, and that's going to help them a little bit. You scratch together some wins like that, like the Raiders have, mixed with some upsets, and that's a recipe for being a team that gets in probably as a wild card, because other teams had tougher roads.
One train we hopped on a little bit too quick, it seems, was, and I know they had their issues with coaches, was the Saints train. Are we still going to buy a ticket for later, or is this who they are? You know what I'm saying?
I'm not jumping off the Saints train at all. The thing is, if it was the Saints train to the Super Bowl, I was like, oh, my gosh, it was one game. They kind of short-sheeted the opponent, steamrolled there. If we're talking about somebody that could win their division, it could be a thorn in the side of Tom Brady, etc., then I'm still on the Saints team. Yeah, I just pulled up the Football Outsiders playoff probabilities. These are updated every week. And the Saints are a 50-50 playoff team right now. So that might be a little lower than some people thought. I know it's a lot lower. Some people jumped off that train clearly in the last couple of days. But they're still a slight favorite, odds-on favorite to make the playoffs this year.
So Pittsburgh's a team, they lose to the Raiders. Roethlisberger's got a pec issue. Their entire offensive line has been reset. Najee looks the part, but there's no space for him to operate. How do you sense that in a division where Cincinnati looks better, Cleveland we already knew was good, and Baltimore just came off a huge win over the defending AFC champs and 2 years ago the Super Bowl champs.
You know, it's funny. I was just pulling some stats on running backs getting hit behind the line of scrimmage this year. And, of course, Derrick Henry's number one, but you expect that. They feed him the ball. Najee's been hit behind the line of scrimmage a little bit less than Derrick Henry, and that's an indictment of that offensive line there. And you're right, he looks the part. He's stiff-arming his way to 3-yard gains when he was hit 3 yards in the backfield. But to answer your question, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. Those AFC North teams are going to beat up on each other. Pittsburgh's going to have 2 games against Baltimore, 2 games against Cleveland. Bengals are a little tougher this year. They've got a really tough upcoming schedule, and that's going to limit them in their chances of going to the playoffs. And then you look at teams in the AFC West, and the Raiders already have a big win or two under their belts and they have an easier schedule. The Broncos, my God, their schedule is ridiculous this time of year. Every team they face is the Jets or Jaguars, it seems. So they're riding high. The Steelers are going to find themselves, behind the 8 ball if they can't get a couple of more, tight upsets like they got against the Bills in Week 1.
Yeah, go ahead, Mo.
Man, I'm a sucker for people trying to get a redemption, okay? And the guy that's on my radar, man, is Danny Dimes in New York. I feel like that last game wasn't on him, but it looks as if Danny Dimes can't get the job done. And Daniel Jones is what I'm talking about. Like, what are the Giants in this whole ordeal? What is he? I mean, we saw what Sam Darnold looked like when he leaves New York. Is that what we need out of Daniel Jones also?
Yeah, I think so. You know what it is when you look at teams where everything's clicking? If the quarterback has a great game, it's a win, and if he has a bad game, the defense picks him up. Or the offensive line picks him up against a tough defense. Or the running game picks him up. Or the coaching staff calls something brilliant. None of that happens with the Giants. Daniel Jones has one of the strongest games. They're like, you know what? They still lost. They made mistakes on special teams. They made mistakes on defense. They let a backup quarterback beat them. And you watch him like running the option and doing some of these designed runs. And we've seen this from the Giants before. He does that for a week, and then they forget it exists. They forget it exists for 3 weeks or a month afterwards. Like, hey, you can run the read option with Daniel Jones. He can run a little bit. Nah, we're not going to do that. We're going to sit him in the pocket here and throw passes underneath Evan Ingram. So that might be it, where Daniel Jones is a change of scenery kind of guy. Now, that said, I'm not sold on Sam Darnold having turned things around yet. We talked about Jameis Winston already in this. Sometimes a change of scenery for these quarterbacks where you wait for years on them, it's, his future really is as a really good backup. Right now, Mitchell Trubisky is backing up Josh Allen, and that's a great place for him. If Josh Allen gets hurt, Trubisky comes in and it's like, oh, this is a good team. They're going to get a win or two with Trubisky if he just kind of runs the ball a little bit and throws deep. That might be Daniel Jones' future. He makes a lot more sense as Patrick Mahomes' backup or Russell Wilson's backup in the future than he does out there with this team that can't really support him, getting a mixture of really bad losses and really tough losses.
Mike Tanier, Football Outsiders, with us. And I quote, hang in there with us. We're going to get better. The one thing about Jacksonville on the 904, go to sleep knowing there's not going to be any group working harder to get this thing flipped. Unquote, Urban Meyer. How sad is Urban Meyer right now behind the scenes?
Yeah, it's really telling. It's like we have to deliver this message right now. You're 0-2. Your team is always 0-2. He's still thinking like it's Ohio State. He's still thinking like it's Florida, where it's already an impending disaster if you lost your early season non-conference games. And that's it. It's almost like you're better off saying nothing and just doing it than delivering this fake Tebow pledge, which is what that sounds like to a lot of us there. So yeah, he's sad behind the scenes, or there are reports that he's angry behind the scenes. And again, I'm not going to be the guy every time a college coach gets fired. It's like, let's do an Urban Meyer joke right now, because he's going to do that. By the end of the season, the jokes aren't going to be jokes anymore. It's going to be real. Unless he performs a miracle and turns that Jacksonville Jaguars team around, he really is going to be looking at those college ranks and looking at a possibility to go someplace where what he does is more successful.
Yeah, we'll make those jokes for you, Mike. We've been making them already. We're going to continue. They're not going anywhere. I mean, I think the only reason he wins the NFL is because, I get a chance to coach Trevor Lawrence. I get the number 1 pick. I get to go coach this generational guy who unfortunately has thrown 5 interceptions. That team's just not good. You look at them and the Jets and the Falcons. That's the one that's maybe sort of under the radar terrible. Mm-hmm. How bad is Atlanta?
They're bad, but they also, they face Tom Brady and a juggernaut this week, and they kind of played tough against them. But there's a lot going on. They're off in the trenches. They're very bad. Offensive line is not very good. Defense, it's been years. They don't have a lot of talent there, and that's what's going on. So you see Matt Ryan, and you're like, these guys should be more competitive, but he's out there, and Calvin Ridley and a couple other guys by themselves. Jets have nothing. Jets have no talent whatsoever. So it circles back to the Jaguars, where if you look at their receiving core, look at their offensive line, you're like, yeah, this should be a little bit more competitive. There's a lot of veterans here. There's a lot of guys who've been good in other stops or had potential. You can kind of say, well, it's a rebuilding situation for the Falcons. Jets are like a 2-3 year rebuilding program. What's going on with Jacksonville? And it goes back to, well, maybe Urban Meyer really isn't the guy for this team.
So on the way out, the second best quarterback in the AFC South this week will be Trevor Lawrence, Jacob Eason, or Davis Mills.
Oh my goodness! I'm gonna go with Jacob Eason, and my lips to Carson Wentz his ears because he doesn't respond well when the backup plays well. Let's leave it at that. And but I think that's a distinct possibility because Mills is terrible, and Eason has a possibility to go out there and Frank Wright's system and surprise a lot of people.
Mike, we appreciate you, brother. Thanks so much for making time as always.
Violence.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Take care. Enjoy your week, guys.
You too. That's Mike Tanier, Football Outsiders. It just came to me. Think about the quarterbacks that might be starting in the division. I know we're adding Trevor, and that's sad, but the Jags are terrible, and Urban Meyer's wrecking them.
Yes, y'all two chose violence in those last two.
Think about that. Davis Mills and Jacob Eason might be two starting quarterbacks in the AFC South this weekend.
And might be better than Trevor Lawrence.
Because the Jags are horrendous.
Yeah, it's not Trevor's fault.
No.
I'm rolling with Tanier here. I feel like Frank Wright might put Jacob Eason in a better situation than what Urban Meyer ever
I would
will.
tend to think that's probably true.
Yeah, I mean, didn't even
Davis
register.
Mills.
Didn't even register to me.
Think about that. Tannehill, way up here, a rookie quarterback that's struggling on a bad team, and then two quarterbacks that you're like, who? Who was that?
Hey,
I knew Davis Mills at Stanford. I knew Jacob Eason in the Pac-12 and at Georgia. I don't mean nothing about the NFL, though.
Davis Mills sounds like one of the characters from Trading Places.
Facts. I feel like
it's fair.
I know Taylor Lewan calls himself dad, but if somebody photoshopped Ryan Tannehill with the three backup quarterbacks right now in the AFC South and say dad's home, they ain't wrong.
Get on it. Get on it, James Lewis. Get on it.
He's dad now. He ain't even that old. I'm with Tanier. If they don't go out and bash this team this weekend, I hate to put that pressure on, and a win is a win, but it's got to look dominant against.
For real, dude. You got to knock that hoo-ha in the dirt.
Yeah. That's where I was. Now I'm getting into game mode. It's officially hump day. It's
I just
Wednesday.
wanted to wanted to hand Schaefer a drop right there.
I saw that one. I heard it too. I'm with it.
I just wanted to give him a drop. Sometimes you do. Kayla gave us one earlier this week. It was clear as day. She wanted that one added to her soundboard.
I can play that later. I cut that one.
I can't even remember it, but it was classic.
It was.
Give me 30 seconds.
Yeah, perfect. But yeah, like
that's all you need anyway.
The first step for a good football team.
Shut your mouth.
The first step for a good football team is to step on the throats of bad football teams.
What did you want out of Alabama last week? You wanted them to put their foot on Florida's neck.
Yeah.
And they
no,
let
that's
them breathe.
not a bad Florida team, though.
It's not, but you expected them to not let them breathe anymore.
Yeah.
And
the first thing is to beat the teams you're supposed to beat and beat them soundly. Here's Kayla. I knew Schaefer would have this quickly.
Oh, baby, any way I can do it.
She just knew it. She knew what she was doing.
Oh, baby, any way I can do it.
Auntie Kayla needs to grow up.
She's finna get at it now.
She needs to grow up. When we come back, grand opening, grand closing.
Nope.
Yesterday was terrible, Moan.
No, I was like 3 for 5. Wasn't it 2.5?
One day this week you were bad. Maybe it was Monday.
It was Monday.
Terrible.
I was cheeks on Monday.
Monday.
By the way, there's a whole lot more people said cheeks.
Yeah, that's becoming a thing.
Cheeks.
You were Rikishi on Monday.
I don't ever want to be Rikishi.
In the corner.
My kid was scared of Rikishi.
Nice guy, but yeah, you don't want to cross him.
No,
you don't want to cross him. When we come back, Ramon Foster attempts and fails to know things about pop culture related to birthdays being celebrated today. Always a crowd pleaser. We'll be right back. JMart Ramon, 104.5 The Zone.
It just gets you in the mood.
Your home for all things Vols.
Crank up Rocky
Top. Touchdown, Tennessee.
Rocky Top.
You'll always be home sweet home to me. Good old Rocky Top. Woo!
Rocky Top, Tennessee. Let's go, boys.
1045 The Zone.
Hey, it's JMart. As a first-time home buyer, applying for your first home loan can seem like a daunting task. There's a lot that goes into it, but you don't have to worry. My friends over at Mortgage Investors Group will be here for you every step of the way. Get ahead of all the other buyers by getting pre-qualified before you ever start looking. That's the way you get into the home that you want. You don't have to go to your fifth or sixth choice. You get the absolute first one because pre-qualification gets you to the closing table quicker than everybody else. It gives you bargaining power that you need. And again, it's going to help you close quicker. Get pre-qualified and get moving. Mortgage Investors Group, committed to helping Tennesseans. That means you and your family fulfill your dreams of home ownership. Their mortgage experts will find and structure the mortgage that best fits your needs, best achieves your goals, because Mortgage Investors Group simply wants to be your home loan lender. I want you to let them. Let Mortgage Investors Group work for you. Offices to serve you: Brentwood, Hendersonville, Cool Springs. Go to the website. You can see all the locations. MIGonline.com. They do have an office near you. MIGonline.com will get you the advice you need to get you started and get you ahead. Or text MIG to 31399, MIG to 31399 to get pre-qualified. If you get pre-qualified, you will get moving with Mortgage Investors Group. Equal housing lender, license number 109111.
Lately, we've been getting a lot of calls and questions about acoustic wave therapy for the treatment of erectile dysfunction. This is a relatively new treatment for ED, but one we've been using for years. This is Kim for the Tennessee Men's Clinic, and if you're looking at acoustic wave therapy or any option to help your ED, it's worth a visit to check us out. Our wave therapy protocols use acoustic wave
Traffic Center.
Fairview, 40 westbound closed between Fairview Dixon and 840 due to a crash. Watch for stop traffic from the Williamson County line. Talbot's Corner, 65 southbound at 24. There's a crash partially blocking the on-ramp. At Hadley, Washington, 26th Avenue north at Clifton Avenue. We've got an accident. This report brought to you by the Tennessee Lottery. The Powerball jackpot is now up to $490 million. Plus, you can choose the double play add-on for a second chance to win up to $10 million. Hurry into any Tennessee Lottery retailer and play today for your chance to win big. Next drawing is tonight. I'm Christy O'Brien with traffic on your home for Titans football. 1045 The Zone.
Yep, 7. The theme continues. It's 7 Mary 3. Cumbersome bringing it back here. JMart and Ramon, 1045 The Zone. We're powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors in Nashville. If you miss any part of this program, podcast it, including Mike Tanier, who's always fun.
He was good.
Yep. And he dropped that Carson Wentz COVID vaccine line just kind of underneath.
God, what do you say? Got to take a cortisone shot.
Cortisone shots won't take a COVID shot.
Make it make sense, Jay.
Man.
Uh-oh.
It was a pretty funny line.
It was funny.
Titans' next 6 games against AFC opponents. It's the Colts, then at the Jets, at the Jags, Buffalo, Kansas City, at Indianapolis. Our Picture Me Poland today. How will the Titans perform over that stretch? Vote at JMart and Ramon on Twitter. 4-2 or better, 3-3, 2-4 or worse. Almost 1,000 of you in. 4-2 or better, 65.1%. 3-3, 29.6. We'll continue to update you on that, and we'll actually read some of your better comments a little bit later on. But it is time. A couple sports birthdays. Josh Palmer, 23 today.
Shout out to the young one.
Dylan Windler, 25. Dylan Windler played at Belmont.
Oh, my bad.
Pretty solid basketball player at Belmont. Those, I just wanted to name a few. Oh, Alejandro Villanueva is 33 today.
Today's my boy birthday?
Yep. Might want to send him a text message. Might want to send him a text
message.
Might
want to do it right now, but you'll forget.
I would suggest not doing it now because you're going to need all your faculties. Moan Scott Baio is 61.
Scott Baio? Beowulf? No?
That's the worst answer we've ever had.
That might be the worst answer we've ever had.
Hollywood Shuffle. Scott Baio.
Didn't feel right, didn't look right, didn't taste right, didn't smell right.
Those jeans were about 4 sizes too small, Mo.
It wasn't right.
No.
Biscuits out of a can.
Cheeks. Rikishi.
That was so cheeks.
Scott Baio. Charles in charge.
Huh?
Charles in charge.
Chachi.
I've never
actually
heard of Charles in charge.
Charles
At me if you've heard of Charles in charge.
Yeah, everybody that's about 40 years old and older has. I know you're younger, but still. Don't give me the Buck Rising treatment.
When I say Chachi, what does that mean to you, Mo?
Chachi? The salsa?
I know what you're saying. That's not it.
You know.
Cha-cha or Chi-Chi, one. I can't remember what the salsa is. I think it's cha-cha.
Cha-cha is good on greens.
Chachi from Happy Days.
I'm going to West Tennessee Market. I'm getting some cha-cha from my grandmama, too, by the way. That's
right now, all you are is caca.
Grandmama. Cha-cha. Caca.
Yeah, no, you're caca right now, Mon.
I was
trying. Joan Jett is 63.
Joan Jett. Shit, I'm going to start.
No, she's also not what the jet was named after, Mo.
Jet Blue? Dog, I'm so lost. If she wasn't in the wood, then I'm done with this game.
Definitely was not in the wood.
She wasn't in the wood?
She was not Stacy.
Look at my
she
guy
was not
over
Michael
there.
Jordan from Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
North Carolina?
Which I remember being in the theater in Winston-Salem, watching The Wood, and the whole theater exploded when he said that out loud. Joan Jett, Schaefer.
I love rock and roll.
That's all you need to say.
Only Joan I love was in Mad Men.
Joan Holloway.
Yep.
Joan was
Christina
strong.
Hendricks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Joan Jett, I love rock and roll. You know that song, Mo?
No, don't.
Why'd you love Joan and
You
Mad
know
Men,
I
Ramon?
love rock and roll. Come on.
You
You
know
play
the
me the
song.
tune, I'm going to know it.
You'll
the
know.
title.
Get off of IMDb. Get out of there.
I like the great
Right?
guesses.
Well, that's a good point.
I'm shooting.
You're kind of like the Vols last year. You're cheating and still losing.
Tom Felton is 34, Moan.
Raymond Felton's cousin. If he ain't related to Raymond Felton, then I ain't got a clue because there's not many Feltons that I know. So where are we with Tom Felton?
Tom Felton was Draco Malfoy in Harry Potter and all of the Harry Potters.
My wife's going to be mad about that one.
I thought maybe. No, I knew you didn't
Keisha's
know
going to be mad about that one. I got to know that one.
I'm not happy with that at all either by you.
That was
Tatiana Maslany is 36, Moan.
When you said Tatiana, I got excited.
Because there's going to be Ali, right? Nope.
Tatiana, golly. Is she in Sicario?
No.
Not in Sicario.
Television show called Orphan Black. She's done a lot of stuff.
Orphan Black.
Very talented. She was also in a couple of Parks and Recreation episodes. She's done a lot.
Oh, man.
Emmy nominee for Orphan Black as well. Yes. Tremendous show.
Missed that one.
Okay, Moan. Michael Lawrence Tyler is 51.
Michael Lawrence Tyler. Kiss. Aerosmith.
That's Steven Tyler.
I'm in the ballpark.
It felt right.
It felt right. Tyler Perry's director.
I can't take last names and make them first names.
I feel like I'm in the ballpark, though.
Michael Lawrence Tyler is better known as Mystical.
Hey, Ramon, shake it fast and watch yourself over there, okay?
Yourself. Go ahead, Jay.
Mystical's 51.
You better stop lying.
51.
Hey.
That's why I wanted to end with it, because I was like, he's 51.
51? We got to play some Mystical coming back. Can we?
We need to play Joan Jett if we're going to play anything.
No, we're doing the 7 song.
I know we are.
Mystical's 51?
Yes, he's 51.
Why did you say Mystical?
Think about that during it. Because why would I do that, Mom?
Yeah, you would know who Mystical is.
I hate y'all today.
I brought in Dunkin' coffee. You with
Brick?
a donut. I didn't bring in any donuts because I knew you were about to do this. 4th hour of the show's coming up. Scout Meeting Wednesday continues. Rhett Bryan of Titans Radio will join us when we come back after the top of the hour headlines here on The Zone.
Calorie sap.
Coming up today with Buck Rising.
Our Wednesday tradition, the dumbest thing in sports. There's a lot of good material to choose from, and I know you guys will bring it strong. Plus, new expecting father, Will Compton of Bussin' with the Boys, will join us. We'll talk about the win over the Seahawks and what's happening with his Bussin' with the Boys co-host, Taylor Lewan.
The Buck Rising Show. Today, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on 104.5 The Zone.
It has been a great start to the NFL season, and it's only getting better at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. DraftKings is kicking off another week of action by giving all new customers a can't-miss offer, unlike my birthday segment. Bet just $1 on any football game this week and receive $150 in free bets instantly, no matter what. If you go over 5, don't matter. You'll get it. And let me tell you how. This football season, all customers can swing big with the DraftKings same-game parlays. Same-game parlays allow you to combine multiple bets for a bigger payout. This week, place a same-game parlay on any NFL game, and you will be credited up to $25 if your bet loses. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. And the best part about that is you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want it. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code WGFX to receive $150 in free bets instantly when you place a $1 bet on any football game. But that's promo code WGFX to get $150 in free bets instantly this week at the DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. You must be 21 years and older and present in Tennessee to bet. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And if you're someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or even text the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
This is Boomer Science with the CBS Sports Minute. Like Heroes sandwiches that Tom Brady endorses but doesn't eat, another thing TB12 doesn't need is more game balls. But the GOAT is playing better than ever and shredded Atlanta with 5 touchdown passes. The greatest current running back, Derrick Henry, carried the Titans past the Seahawks with 182 yards and 3 scores, prompting Pete Carroll to declare that Henry has some Jim Brown characteristics. Rams wide receiver Cooper Kupp has runneth over. With the arrival of Matthew Stafford, Kupp captured 9 passes for 163 yards and 2 touchdowns versus the Colts. On defense, Tampa Bay's Mike Edwards registered 2 fourth-quarter pick sixes, while Chicago's Roquan Smith tormented Cincinnati with a pick 6, a sack, and 8 total tackles. Arizona's offseason investment in free agent kicker Matt Prater paid off again. He was perfect Sunday, including a 62-yard bomb that looked like it would have gone through from 70. Finally, Vegas' John Gruden earns my coaching game ball for the Raiders' huge win at Pittsburgh. He's got his boys at 2-0. I'm Boomer Esiason.
What's your ultimate game day experience? A tricked out man cave? Deluxe tailgate? Then enter the 5-Hour Energy Football Sweepstakes for a chance to win $10,000 and make your ultimate game day experience a reality. To enter, buy any 5-Hour Energy product and upload the receipt. It's that easy. The 5-Hour Energy Football Sweepstakes. Enter today.
No purchase necessary. Must be 18 and a legal resident of the U.S. Ends December 10th, 2021. For official rules and how to enter without purchase, visit 5hesport.com.
Fairview 40 westbound remains closed between Fairview, Dixon, and 840 due to a crash. Watch for stop traffic from the Williamson County line. Handley, Washington, 26th Avenue north of Clifton Avenue. There's a crash. Oak Hill, Franklin Pike, north of Harding Place. We've got an accident. And near the airport, Elm Hill Pike, there's an accident at Airport Center Drive with emergency crews on the scene. This report brought to you by CoinFlip. Want to pay less for crypto? CoinFlip is the world's leading crypto ATM company that cuts the average competitor's fees by more than half. So visit coinflip.tech to find an ATM near you and flip your cash into crypto today. It's so flippin' easy. I'm Christy O'Brien with traffic on your home for Titans football. 104.5 The Zone.
From the WinBet studio, win with WinBet. WGFX Gallatin, Nashville. The Titans and the Colts. Kickoff is Sunday at noon on your home for Titans football. Trending now at 104.5 The Zone.
It's 9:02. Good morning. I'm Jonathan Schaefer. Major League Baseball yesterday. The Atlanta Braves defeated the Arizona Diamondbacks 6-1. Austin Riley hit his 30th home run of the season. Ozzie Albies also hit a 2-run shot.
Ozzie destroys this one. High in the air to deep right field. That is gone. Ozzie Albies clears the wall and about the first 3 or 4 rows out there behind the wall.
Braves maintained their 3-game lead in the NL East. The boys in gold in action tonight. Nashville SC travels to Inter Miami CF. Nashville in second place in the Eastern Conference, 3 points ahead of New York City FC and Orlando SC. Say all that 3 times real fast. Kickoff set for 6:30. The Titans, wave safety Bradley McDougald and defensive lineman Anthony Rush. Derrick Henry, AFC Offensive Player of the Week after his performance Sunday against the Seahawks. And the SEC released its 2022 football schedule. Next season, the Vols will have a 3-game stretch where they host Florida on September 24th, travel to LSU on October 8th, and host Alabama on October 15th. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once. On your home for the Titans and the Vols, this is 104.5 The Zone.
Do I have everybody's attention now?
Now it's time for Jason Martin and Ball for Life Ramon Foster.
Powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors.
Together, they are JMart and Ramon on 104.5 The Zone.
What's happening? 4th hour of the hashtag fastest 4 hours in radio is upon you. It's upon us. We're blessed to bring it to you courtesy of All Four Seasons Garage Doors in Nashville. All4seasonsgarages.com/Nashville. That's where we want you to go to learn more, along with 11-year NFL veteran and Ball for Life Ramon Foster, Jonathan Schaefer. And joining us, as always, on Wednesdays for Scout Meeting Wednesday, Rhett Bryan of Titans Radio. I'm Jason Martin, at Ramon Foster, at Schaefer on Sports, at Rhett B. Tennessee, at JMart Radio, at JMart and Ramon. Inky coming up at the end.
Need it.
In dire need. In dire need.
Right when you need him the most.
Cousin Andrew will give him top observation for this hour. Top Ob, he says, this man, that meaning Mike Tanier, I believe, this man is talking faster than my grandma walks at the mall, man.
Grandma getting a burn in.
Mike Tanier had the burn line of the day when he said, yeah, Carson might try to play on cortisone shots, but he won't take a COVID shot.
Wow.
He just dropped that and kept rolling. It was like, whoa. I didn't want to drive. I don't even care about your thoughts on the vaccine. It's just a good line.
It was just good.
Just a good line. Jim Weber created a website, guys, called Lost Letterman, which is a really cool website. It's no longer there, but Jim Weber is a pretty good Twitter follow. He says, check the Titans' current avatar. And a lot of his stuff's about uniform combinations and stuff. Current avatar is the Oil Derrick. Bum Phillips going into the Ring of Fame. I think it's this weekend, right?
That is correct.
Ring of Honor. He says, can they please just use this logo in the Oilers uniforms full time? No one cares. There's no Jazz in Utah and no lakes in Los Angeles.
Okay. Well, technically, there are a couple of oil wells, I think, in West Tennessee. But
there is oil in them Tennessee hills, according to Tennessee Oil and Gas Association.
Lee,
there's oil in them the hills. Look, here's the thing, and it's so interesting how things over time become popular again, because I was there the day that they came to town, announced, hey, here's Mr. Adams, and here, no one wanted Tennessee Oilers. No one cared Tennessee Oilers. People were like, where'd the Houston Oilers go again? I went to a convention like 6 months after they moved. Where did they end up? I'm like, they're in Nashville. They're the Tennessee Oilers. Oh, okay. Is there oil in Tennessee? Anyway, we want a name of our own and our own uniform. And, of course, the Titans, became a thing, and the rest is history. But nobody wanted it. And now it's
Everybody
cool again.
wants it. Yep.
Yeah. I've got some old Tennessee Oilers gear I've hung on to just for that reason.
Oh, I've seen you wear the hat before. I've seen you wear a shirt before, I think, too.
Yeah.
You can probably sell it for a big profit these days.
But, this is going to be really neat. Bum Phillips, a huge part of the franchise history, the essence of the Love You Blue era. Most greatest winning percentage still in franchise history at 608. Went 10-4 his first year as head coach, and they went to 2 AFC championship games. Should have gone to a Super Bowl, and this is where I'm going to get into your club, the Steelers. But Mike Renfro had a little play there that instant replay would have seen differently. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. But a lot of the Oilers greats are going to be here this weekend to celebrate their former head coach in Elvin Bethea and Curly Culp, and Warren Moon will be here this weekend. It'll be really neat. Billy White Shoes Johnson. I mean, it's some really cool names. And very deserving to be in the Ring of Honor, which, by the way, if you haven't been to Nissan Stadium, they have updated that in a temporary fashion, and it's all on the lower bowl behind the wall of the last row of seats in the lower bowl, and it's done very tastefully so you can see it. And then from what I understand, that's a temporary deal till they can come up with a more permanent solution.
Well, how cool is that, though, to be able to be there and see this being unveiled, and just the idea that, look, legends live forever, and this is a guy, a coach, a man who's going to live forever inside of Nissan Stadium. Even if they break this down and put another one up, his name is up there because of the significance of what he's done for this organization.
Oh, it's true, 100%. And I'll tell you this. I did an interview a few years ago with Earl Campbell, and I asked him, I said, what does Love You Blue represent? What does it mean? It became a huge movement in the city of Houston. He said, well, I'll tell you. He said, here it is in the mid 70s, and things are contentious with race relations.
Yeah.
Just things were not great. And he said it brought a whole city together.
Yeah.
Unified front, did not matter. And they all had something to go cheer for on Sundays. And, he, of course, I'm paraphrasing, and he put it together so more eloquently than I did, but it was a huge deal. And Bum Phillips was at the center of that with his, blue jeans and 10-gallon hat. I mean, he cowboy personified. I mean, he didn't wear any coaching gear on the sideline. It looked like he was ready to go to a rodeo. But, special times there. Won a lot of ball games. A lot of ball games.
Speaking of special times, Titans in overtime go to the Pacific Northwest in one of, if not the toughest place to play in the league. You probably put it with the Superdome when the Saints are good. Arrowhead is awfully tough, and Foxborough just sucks.
That is where we are in agreement, sir.
To have to deal with, but just the importance of getting that first week stink off you and going and beating a contender and reminding yourself, oh, wait, we do have a pretty solid team here.
Week one, more and more as we get into what is modern football with 3 preseason games and, less practices and those things. Week one is the tease. Week two is where it starts to set the tone. And outside of this win, the most surprising score probably in any of the slate of week 2 games would be the Bills 35-0 over the Dolphins. Because they just trounced those guys.
Right.
But this was the other thing that you like, whoa, hang on a second. They were up 24-9 at the half. They were up 30-16 at one point. Titans trailed by 14 in the fourth quarter, and they came back and won that game. The turning point for me was when Jason Myers, the kicker, missed the PAT. Because your point differential right there, you didn't need to get to a tie ball game in that situation. And then the very next play on the next possession was the 60-yard run left by Derrick Henry. I'm like, okay, let's see what they can do. That was the thing I think it was interesting in an observation is how loud it was because it had been over a year since people had been in seats in full capacity in that place. And you're right, Jason. If it's not the loudest, it's right up near the top.
Mm-hmm.
And they were ready for it. But you could hear a pin drop in moments in that fourth quarter. Now, obviously, when they got to backing them up in their own territory deep towards the end, and Ola should have had a sack for a safety on that. But that's a conversation for maybe another day. It was very loud there, but I mean, it was amazing how quiet it got. In fact, when Randy Bullock hit the field goal in overtime, I didn't need to see the ref give the signal. The crowd told me it was good.
Quiet.
Because it was quiet.
Unlike Greg Joseph's.
Wow.
Mike Keith laid out for a couple of seconds. Wait until you see the official.
Yeah.
Wait until you see the official.
And he's told the story on the air many times here. It's like,
High
hey,
snap, put down.
Yep.
Joseph, come on! It is gone! No, he missed it. Good. Are you kidding me? He missed it right. He missed it right.
Oh, my heavens. Rhett Bryan's with us. We'll come back. We will scout meeting Wednesday this thing. We already broke down the offense and the defense and what we expect. Well, now we'll get Rhett's thoughts on it, where the Titans stand, and where do the Colts stand. I asked this question. We'll send you to break on this because we choose violence around here. Who's the second best quarterback in the AFC South this weekend? Is it Jacob Eason? Is it Trevor Lawrence? Or is it Davis Mills? We'll be right back. It's JMart Ramon on 104.5 The Zone.
The Titans have their first division matchup this weekend, and it's against the Indianapolis Colts. Buck Rising and the Lead Company countdown to kickoff Sunday morning at 9, followed by the kickoff at noon.
He accelerated. He did. He split that thing. As soon as he saw a little grass and stripes, he split it.
On your flagship for Titans football, 104.5 The Zone.
Buying a car can be overwhelming, especially now that the demand is back in full swing. Lucky for you, though, Edmunds has been taking the stress out of car shopping for over 50 years. Edmunds editors drive over 500,000 miles every year, testing thousands of hours on hundreds of new vehicles. They review almost every car on the market and rank the best ones in each category. So you can narrow your search and compare options side by side to find the best vehicle for you. When you're ready, Edmunds makes it easy to find the options in your area with accurate price estimates. Think about this. Edmunds has a team. They're editors, but they're a team, okay? Let me tell you what they do. They document and drive cars for over 20,000 miles in their first year. And what do? They report the red flags, the routines in and outs, and everything else you need to know. What they also do is they tell you about the performance of the car, truck, e-car that you're looking for, the comfort, technology, fuel economy, and the value, okay? Other things they do, you can search by the color, whether you want a gold, black, silver, white, doesn't matter. Model, special features, engine type, drivetrain, price, distance, and more. They even show you the dealerships that are offering home delivery. Edmunds is here to guide you to your perfect vehicle. Visit Edmunds.com to see their best car rankings and search for the vehicle near you. That's EDMUNDS.com. For cars, there's Edmunds.
Get the ultimate mouth guard with affordable coverage from Delta Dental of Tennessee. Offering a large network of dentists and a variety of plans, you'll get better coverage than a defensive secondary. Learn more at deltadentaltn.com.
We can see your smile, and we think you should be able to see it too. With Delta Dental of Tennessee and Delta Vision, we can improve your overall
TheHomeLoanExpert.com. NMLS number 1326-241.
Scoreboard, football, music, world's largest selection of bushwhackers. What else is there?
S Club 7, is that what you told me, Schaefer?
That's correct.
What's the name of the song?
I don't know.
S Club 8.
Hit the buzz on yourself.
Never had a dream come true. And you know what? You're getting.
That is a demerit.
Telling me what to do.
Just crop dusting myself over here.
I told you to leave the studio 5 times already. You are about to be banned out of here.
Oh, JMart Ramon, 104.5 The Zone. Rhett
Rhett
Bryan's
Bryan.
with us hanging out. Never know what you're walking into on this program.
Apparently, it smells.
I remember that song. I could not tell you the artist to save my life, but I remember that.
Oh, but when I don't know it, we get a buzzer.
Yeah, that's because there's a game show and you're a
You know what?
contestant.
You know what?
That is a demerit.
Yeah.
For whining.
You're right. I did whine.
Hey, Moan,
Yeah.
the price is wrong.
Bitch.
You know what? It stopped raining. Meet
Shit.
me outside, both of y'all. We're hashing this out today.
You said that in my ear, right, Schaefer?
Nope.
Nope.
I didn't finish it.
Oh, okay.
Dummy.
He or she.
This is what we're doing today, Red.
Rhett Bryan and Titans Radio. If you know, you know. That was from
If
yesterday's
you
show. We don't want to
know,
get too insular, but
No,
No,
you know.
and I'm going to be very careful what I say.
we are on terrestrial radio.
Yes, we are.
Keep it PG.
Are we?
13.
So Carson Wentz dealing with 2 sprained ankles. He's going to do something in practice today, and they're going to figure out where he is.
I'm going to tell you what. This is just
sad.
No, it's try to keep the Titans guessing, so you have to prepare for 2 quarterbacks.
Well, I mean, if they're going to actually release what he looks like today.
Yeah, I mean But look, we saw the film of what Aaron Donald did to him on the right ankle. He hurt the left ankle earlier in the game, sprained it. The right ankle, Aaron Donald turned him into a pretzel.
Boy, he threw him down and landed on top of his leg, and people were calling that injury prone. I'm like, dude, there's nobody that's not probably getting banged up from that.
Right. It's Aaron Donald, for heaven's sake.
Problem for Carson Wentz, and you know this, Red, as somebody that watches as much tape as you do. That dude doesn't slide. That's how he got injured against the Rams. In the year he probably would have won a Super Bowl potentially, and certainly might have been the NFL MVP. He just dives. He's got a Marcus Mariota problem.
Well, and we'll get into it, but I mean he's got 9 carries for 60 yards of the 222 they have as a team through 2 games. They don't have their run game up and running yet. That's the thing that scares me about this matchup.
Yeah.
Out of the backfield, Nyheim Hines and Jonathan Taylor, deadly.
Yeah.
But the run game isn't where they want it to be yet.
No,
but,
it's not.
But yeah, so what we're looking at is, look, it's more than likely it's Jacob Eason in this ball game. And Brett Hundley is someone they protected on their practice squad yesterday. He would be the person that they would elevate to the active roster as the backup. And Jacob Eason is prepared to go start and do this game because with everything that Carson Wentz had with the whole foot surgery deal leading up to the season,
a lot of reps with the ones.
He had 17 of the 19 training camp practices as the one, and then 3 preseason games. So he's got the reps and the time. And so that's the thing about him. But the knock on him going back to college, he's 6'4", 230 pounds and can throw it a mile.
Yeah.
Does he have the touch? That's what we're looking at.
What about Joe Milton?
The touch.
But you rattle off his stats in college, and he had like 16 interceptions.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's what what I mean by the touch. And T.Y. Hilton is still on injured reserve with this thing. So Michael Pittman Jr. is the target. It's
pretty much him and Pascal.
Zach Pascal and the ever dangerous Jack Doyle at tight end.
If you're dealing with a Hilltopper at tight end, you got a problem. Tyler Higbee, Jack Doyle.
Right.
Mitchell
And
Henry
then-
back in the day.
And then again, out of the backfield between Nyheim Hines and Jonathan Taylor both, I think they have 14 catches out of the backfield for just a little over 120 yards receiving already.
And also, like I said, it's running back by committee with these dudes, with Marlon Mack back there also. Like, it's a talented team. They're young as ever, though, just all across the board. The defense, like I said, Xavier Rose is the oldest guy on that defense.
Right.
They're a bunch of youthful, ready-to-go young gunners right now, man, and that could go either way. Like I told Jay, that means they're going to be ambitious and play to show that, look, I deserve to be in this league, or they're going to be one of those defenses that you can expose. You got an very experienced Julio Jones. You got an experienced Ryan Tannehill. And you got to look at them and just say, if I want to, I'm going to expose you. That's what veteran quarterbacks do with these type of teams if given the opportunity.
Let me say this about the Colts defense. First of all, it starts with Darius Leonard at linebacker.
Yes. Yep.
And it continues with DeForest Buckner up front. Buckner is off to a great start with 10 tackles and a quarterback
Half
sack.
a sack, yeah.
Yep. The surprising thing to me is Darius Leonard isn't off to his best start. He's got 10 tackles and a forced fumble through 2 games. He wasn't even the leading tackler in those first 2 games. And that's surprising to me. I don't want that to get started, just like I don't want their run game to get started in this thing. But you're right about this. The secondary, I think, is a place where you can pick them a little bit because, like the Titans' defense, they've given up explosive plays. They've given up, in their first 2 losses, 8 explosive plays, 5 against the Seahawks and 3 last week against the Rams. So you can get it in chunks on them.
More uplifting performance if you're a Titans fan from Sunday, Julio or Christian Fulton?
Oh, gosh. We know what Julio can do, so I'm going to say Christian Fulton because he neutralized DK Metcalf.
Yeah.
And he got under his skin.
He really did. And he was a guy, when training camp started, Coach Mack looked at me and goes, he looks different. I said, yes.
He said
it. His body is transforming. It's like you're seeing grow up right before your very eyes. And he started making plays in practice from day one. And you're like, okay, he's dialed in. There's a lot of talk about, is he cornerback 1 right now? Well, I think you're probably right. Because Jackrabbit is doing what he can do.
Yeah.
But Jackrabbit's 30 years old. So, yeah, I would go with that. Now, what we want now is Julio to stack a performance, and we want AJ to come back to the light.
Yeah.
Because that was probably his worst game as a Titan.
Yeah, I'd
with
say
the
you're
3
right.
drops. And he knows it. And I'm sure he's frustrated. I'm sure he's mad at himself. And he'll come back on the practice field this week and really put in the work to correct that.
A tale of 2 lines, Rhett. I read it off a little bit this morning. This core of this Colts offense is starting with that O-line. I think a lot of people do their rankings and they're either top 5, top 3. They're a good group. Quinn Nelson, of course, Ryan Kelly, Eric Fisher is back this week. He came back last week. Mark Lewinsky is a guy that's pretty solid also, and Braden Smith, man. And now we're looking on the other side, though, of the Titans' offensive line. We got to figure out who's going to be healthy this week, and you want your line to win this battle this week and not let the Colts get very comfortable with that run game that you speak of and what Derrick Henry can do again this week.
Well, I feel like on the right side, it's kind of weird to say this, but you're actually a little more stable because of the way that Quesenberry played right tackle, and certainly Nate Davis doing what he does at right guard. I'm concerned. I'm very interested to see the injury report today and what it's going to look like, obviously, as we get into the weekend, because you got Ben Jones, who's banged up too.
Yeah.
And Roger Saffold with the shoulder, and Taylor Lewan with the right leg that he went down with in warm-ups, and didn't play. Tyson Braylo did a great job filling in for him, just like he did last year. I think he had 10 games in 2020, and 5 of those were starts after the ACL injury a year ago of Lewan. And, and Aaron Brewer, I thought, did a great job at left guard, considering who they had coming, to try to get after it. But you're right about the Colts have the same issues settled at left tackle because Eric Fisher's been coming off an Achilles and all those things. 21 quarterback hits, 6 quarterback sacks they've given up through 2 games. And, that's a stat line that's similar to what the Titans have done at O-line because of injuries as of late.
So, Rhett, we our poll question today, the 6 straight AFC games begin Sunday. They're bookended by the Colts. You got the Jets and Jags on the road. You get Buffalo and Kansas City here within a week of one another, like within 6 days, I think it is, right? You play Monday night against Buffalo, and then Kansas
Sunday.
City's here Sunday.
That's right.
What do you need from those 6 games from a record standpoint to feel good about where you are?
Well, quite honestly, you need a 3-game win streak going into that Buffalo game.
So you need to win Sunday, and you need to bludgeon the Jets and the Jags.
Yep. That's what you need. Because in a 3-game stretch right there, you've got should I say a 4-game win streak if you win the next 3. You've got 2 AFC division wins right there. And you've got AFC. You hit it. AFC wins back to back to back. So you need that. And that's why this one, you got to take this one, and you can't take them with a grain of salt. You have to continue to improve. And the thing I like going into this, I really like that the defense only gave up 33% on 3rd down to Russell Wilson and the Seahawks on the road. That's the best game they've had in nearly a year, because the last time they had a 33% allowance rate in 2020 was Week 9 against the Colts. And we know what they gave up in all those other spaces. It wasn't great. So I like that. But, yeah, and then you have to go to New York and you have to bludgeon the Jets, and then you've got to go take Jacksonville down and then get ready to play some real big boy football in a 6-day span.
You want to see a test of your talent. This matchup right here, and I just thought about it as I look back through my notes from looking at the Colts, though, but Michael Pittman Jr. and Christian Fulton, would you expect them to line up against each other consistently all day with how Fulton has been playing, though? And I said it earlier in our scout meeting is Michael Pittman's coming off his highest receiving game in his career. What did he end up having? Again, he was 8 receptions for 123 yards. No touchdowns, but I feel like I said to Jay earlier, it looked like he's having an AJ moment where people are starting to look around. It's like, oh, okay. But
and he's
then
a bigger dude than AJ.
Exactly. And we're looking at Christian Fulton like, now we see a measuring stick on where you're going to be. I'll have my eye on that this weekend, Rhett.
I don't know that Christian Fulton mirrors him.
Right.
But I think he's on him a lot. It just depends on what personnel group they roll out there.
Yeah.
Because if they, they're rolling 11 personnel and Jack Doyle as the tight end, that's going to we're just going to have to see how they do all that. But in a perfect world, you'd think that's how it would be for sure.
What's going on with Lawan?
I don't know. I just know that he grabbed his right knee, right leg in warm-ups and had to be helped off, and next thing you know, he was inactive, out for the game. I believe the left knee was the ACL injury, so this is something different. Because if it was his left leg and he went down, I'd be like, okay.
But that, you know what? That happens so in surgeries, especially one like that, a main ligament. While you find yourself overcompensating for one side,
that makes sense.
And not to throw this out there, let's say let's use a finger, okay? I don't want to use ligaments like ACLs and stuff. If you mess up your right finger, you know what I'm saying, somewhere, you're going to overcompensate somewhere else. Next thing you know, that one start hurting. And I feel like that's what's happening a little bit. When you're rehabbing from those type of injuries, you're not fully back until your hurt side is as strong as the other side.
Right.
Now,
and so the other side takes the load.
It takes the load. My brother
load-bearing side of it.
went through this directly. I think he tore his ACL and was trying to compensate a little bit with his left side, ended up actually tweaking his back. Had to have a little bit of a back surgery too, because why? I'm going to lean more this way, torque a little bit more this way, and next thing you know, my back is hurting. Like that whole little song we sang as kids, your hip bone connected to, like that actually correlates in these type of sports and stuff. You know 100%, what I'm saying?
Yes.
I know. I went on a kiddie moment right there.
I want to see how long you were going to try to sing the song.
I hate Jay.
And if you were going to make it through pelvic bone without losing it.
Not great, Bob.
Get him out of there, Rhett.
Schaefer just looked at me through the glass when you started. I'm like, oh, boy.
This might be a kid's songs parody moment that we can put together with Ramon Foster.
We all played Operation.
Wheels on the bus go around.
Yeah.
But to that point, though, Taylor is, I guarantee you, it's that, left knee hurting is because of the other one.
Yeah, the left knee was the one he had the ACL injury on last year.
Yeah.
The right knee is the one that, or the right leg is what it was described as, is that he grabbed and went down in warm-ups on Sunday in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, but the thing about this is now that we've got 2 games under the belt, and it's going to be this way every team, everywhere, injury list is going to be long.
Yeah.
And it's going to be varying things. But the injury report today I'll be interested to look at, and I never look at that with much scrutiny until let's look at Friday's report before we start, putting 2 and 2 together.
One more on the way out. Randy Bullock showed up.
Yeah.
For the most part, performed. No Titans fans would be comfortable with the kicking situation probably this season, regardless of who is kicking. So week to week, you just got to give flowers when things are done right. And, yeah, he missed one, but Bullock did step up, and they needed every point.
He did. And there was some wind in that stadium. And so there's knowing those factors, I'm more impressed by what he did by going 4 or 5 and certainly hitting a 36-yarder in overtime. Here's where the kicking situation for the moment is a good thing for the Titans in a not flush with talent or rich or whatever you want to say. But think about this. They've got Randy Bullock, and certainly he's going to be kicker until something goes sideways. Yeah. Sam Ficken will be able to come off the injured reserve if he's able to physically, because the 3 weeks thing will have been up here after this game. So, if things aren't right, you can go back to Ficken if you absolutely had to. Because you don't have to take him off of injured reserve after 3 weeks.
So you'd be sticking with Ficken?
Okay. There's that.
The rotisserie line has to be made, doesn't it? Victory Sunday?
I think so. Provided that they don't underestimate Jacob Eason. They do things defensively to continue to stymie their run game and do things offensively to keep the defense on its heels in this thing. No silly penalties. Keep the turnovers to a bare minimum. I mean, we need Ryan Tannehill to hold on to the football and, give me another 33% allowed on third down, and I think you got that. But they're dangerous because that's the thing. Coach Dave McGinnis said it when we were in postgame Sunday in Seattle. They're just exactly this week where the Titans were a week ago. Be careful.
Yeah, and it's going to be a war because it's a division game.
Always
and
is.
They realize, you don't want to play for the wild card this year in the AFC.
Always is. That's right.
Look, this is their season.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. If they go 0-3, I don't think Colts are pulling out of that.
Yeah.
No, because we've talked about it all offseason. Look at their first dozen games.
It
is murderer's row, man.
Nasty.
Rhett's bad.
Rhett's always a pleasure, brother.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Hey, we'll see you Friday.
Yes.
I got to be out on Friday.
And I will be in for you.
Indeed.
Sir Charles is going to be on the playlist.
Rhett Bryan.
Come on.
Finally, some professionalism.
Thank you. I'm glad somebody said it.
Inky Johnson and the midweek motivation coming up next. JMart and Ramon, 104.5 The Zone. Jeremy McNichol.
Talking balls this season on the 3HL is and will be an experience.
Let's go Vols!
I can't wait to work a football season and see how Tennessee does with Ron Slay on the show.
Yeah, just.
I cannot wait.
Oh, when they don't play well, he'll let it.
I know, and it's going to be must-listen-to radio.
Yeah, I mean, just go ahead and talk it the Monday after the Florida game.
Oh, God, that's going to be a debacle.
The 3HL with Brent Doherty, Don Davenport, and Ron Slay. Today starting at 3 on 104.5 The Zone.
Hey, it's JMart. I want to tell you about a life-changing thing, and that's LASIK. I've been wearing, or had been wearing, glasses since second grade. If you'll notice, over the last 6 to 8 weeks, I haven't been. That's because I contacted my good friends over at LASIK MD, hit up and found out just how good they are at what they do. I wasn't able to have the LASIK that most of you will be able to have. I had to have a little bit of a different procedure, so I'm still on the comeback trail. Had another follow-up yesterday. Things are progressing. Feeling it's just awesome not to have glasses. First of all, being able to toss glasses and contacts, not having to worry about that, it really is a game changer just to be able to see things through your own eyes. Usually it's going to be 24 hours and you're back in action. Dr. Greenberg's done over 80,000 LASIK procedures. LASIK MD's done over 1 million procedures in North America. They took the time. They walked through every step of the procedure for me, answered every one of my questions, every one of my wife's questions. She's getting it done at LASIK MD next month. They've got Contura. That's the newest advancement in LASIK technology. It just adds even more clarity, more longevity, what's going on. Plus, how about a low price guarantee? It's never been more affordable to do LASIK surgery. They will match the competitor's price and then take off an additional discount from the total cost of your procedure. All you got to do is schedule a free LASIK consultation. Find out if you're a candidate for LASIK. It takes about an hour or so. Real easy. Free LASIK consultation. Get yourself scheduled today. LASIKMD.com. That's LASIKMD.com. LASIK MD right now offering LASIK starting at $490 per eye. Like I said, you have never had a better opportunity to see the world through new eyes, meaning your own eyes, not lenses, not glass, not plastic, nothing, just your eyes. You got no reason to wait. See if you're a candidate today by visiting LASIKMD.com.
Lately, we've been getting a lot of calls and questions about acoustic wave therapy for the treatment of erectile dysfunction. This is a relatively new treatment for ED, but one we've been using for years. This is Kim for the Tennessee Men's Clinic, and if you're looking at acoustic wave therapy or any option to help your ED, it's worth a visit to check us out. Our wave therapy protocols use acoustic wave technology, but often also combine it with other treatments that can give most of our patients far higher satisfaction rates. There is no surgery nor any type of invasive procedures required, and while most clinics you hear about only offer sound wave treatments, with our urologist and provider's guidance, you can likely have sex the day after your appointment and experience fewer letdowns. With another one of our ED treatments, you can last up to an hour and a half, and our expertise in treating these issues means you'll get the results you want. So make your appointment today. We'll show you why our acoustic wave program is the better way to do wave therapy. Call us today at 615-208-9090 or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Visit our website to learn more, including side effects, treatments, extra results.
Road with the Tennessee Highway Safety Office every Thursday afternoon at 2:40. This is Doug Matthews. I'll join Blaine SEC football, including the Volunteers, every Thursday. The Tennessee Highway Safety Office reminds you that all fans don't let fans drive drunk.
There are stars in the southern sky.
Welcome back, JMart and Ramon here on this Wednesday. Inky Johnson, Midweek Motivation, will take us home here in about 5 minutes. 7 Bridges Road from the Eagles. 7's been the theme of the day. We mentioned Roethlisberger's jersey number in the first segment. Every music bed has been 7 inspired, and a lot of you have been dropping off some 7 comments as well in the YouTube chat. We appreciate Rhett Bryan. He'll be in on Friday for me. Looking forward to that. I see hashtag Rhett Aloysius. It's popping up in the YouTube chat. By the way, I told you during the break, LaMemphis Grover, if we have a boy.
That's what we naming him? I ain't lie to you,
LaMemphis
Jay.
Grover Aloysius.
Martin.
Think about that.
Martin.
Rashafe Martin. Yeah, we still ain't forgot about
We
that.
hadn't forgotten about Rashafe.
Okay. LaMemphis Grover Martin. Hey, that's solid.
Is Ramon ever going to get to meet the baby?
It felt right. Yeah, you're never going to meet the child, apparently.
I'm meeting this child. Okay, I'm Uncle Moan already. Okay.
People don't realize Ron Slade literally drove around this city looking to see where Abby was having the baby at. That happened. That legitimately happened.
We were on Jason Baby Watch.
Mhm.
Literally.
Mhm.
He said he actually called some of his friends that are nurses. Like,
Not Brady Watch, not Julio Watch, Baby Watch.
that was the watch we needed right there.
Manning Watch.
Yes, Manning
The
Watch.
original.
The original Manning Watch. Yeah.
See if Peyton was going to be a Titan. Gerald says on YouTube, Gerald Giles, never seen this name before, so welcome in, Gerald. He
Welcome
says, if
in,
Jason
Gerald.
has a boy, you should name him Leroy. Never met a white dude named Leroy. My dad's name is Leroy. Herbert Leroy Martin.
Hey,
His mother called him Leroy, my late granny.
Gerald, there you go.
Even when, she's like, Leroy?
What's crazy is people celebrating the first white cornerback in the NFL since 2001.
Dude, I talked to the guy that used to, Dustin Fox, who
Yeah.
played at Ohio State. We interviewed him on Fox because he was a rare species.
What was his rarity, Jason?
He was a white cornerback.
That's freaking crazy.
And he talked about it. It's like people still talk to me about that.
That's wild stuff.
They all become safeties. And there's not even that many of those.
It ain't.
Like Jason Sehorn, John Lynch.
Yeah.
And we're getting
Adam Archuleta.
Adam Archuleta.
Adam Archuleta.
Is that the list? Is that the entire list?
Well, Mike Wagner back in the day for the Steelers back in the 70s.
Well, we're going way back. I'm talking.
That's way back, yeah.
Is that the list, Jason?
That might be the entire list.
We gotta make a change.
Wasn't Chuck Cecil a safety?
That might be right.
He was a defensive back, but I don't remember if he was a safety.
Might be right.
It's pretty wild, right?
Ron Slay in the chat just said facts, ! You
gotta find this. It might have been the fact that he was searching around looking for the baby room y'all was in. That's facts.
I'm still trying to figure out what he would have done if he had found it.
I know Ron was gonna dress up.
Rubbed her belly again.
He was gonna get some scrubs. He was gonna wash down his arm. He was gonna be
He's
in the
going to
room.
have to because he's going to have to sneak in because of protocols and everything that were going on. We can only have one guest. Neither one of our parents none of our parents were allowed in there.
We took a road trip with Ron Slay. Did we not? If there's a room,
that's a fair point. He did find a way.
He gonna always find a way in
Except
a room.
for that one brunch spot where we
got shut down.
Shut down.
But we ate though still. We had to wait a little bit, but it's not many rooms he's not gonna get in. That's how I view him now.
Cousin Danny in the borough just said Kevin Casvaham. His favorite Bengal ever, a white safety.
Casvaharn.
Oh,
There's
okay.
an R in between there.
Got it. Looked like an M.
No,
They're close
you
together.
ain't wrong.
Close together.
You ain't wrong.
You know who that is, Mom? He played in your division.
He's a Bengal?
Yeah.
Never heard of him.
Because he's a Bengal or legitimately you just...
I really hadn't. And secondly, because he's a Bengal too. My hate gonna always come out.
I'm aware.
It's always going to come out.
I've come to find this out about you.
Yeah. The edgy moan comes out every once in a while.
You got to watch Edgy Moan.
You don't want to meet that guy.
Nah.
Inky's met that guy.
Inky has definitely met that guy.
Yeah.
And we've met Ink, and we need Ink on a Wednesday because it was really petty in here yesterday.
Yeah, it was.
Incredibly petty. Today's been a little bit more balanced, but we've had rain for 3 days. We've had questionable interviews.
Yeah.
We had all sorts of things happening. So we do welcome in Inky Johnson, our brother. What's going on, Ink? How are you?
My guys, what's going on, man? How y'all doing?
Good.
Can't complain, Ink. Since we're going to turn it over to you at the end, I guess I should say happy anniversary to my wife. Today is our 2-year wedding anniversary.
Happy, Jason?
Nice.
So
happy anniversary.
Yeah, if I didn't mention it, there might not be a third anniversary. So I'll make sure I get that in.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Definitely.
Can we just say also, we got to be humbled when Inky come on because just out of the blue, Scott Van Pelps drops a shout out to Inky Johnson and continues his broadcast. In case you missed it, I just got to throw that out there. Ink is big time, Jay, and we're not worthy is all I'm saying.
Not at all, man. Not at all.
Man. So by the way, before we turn over, somebody just said Harrison Smith. How'd we forget that?
White safeties or white DBs. Yeah, Harrison. I thought he was biracial.
Dude, he's from here.
I thought he was biracial, though.
Maybe he is. I don't know.
Does that make him white enough?
He a baller,
Yeah,
though.
he's a baller. That's exactly
You're right, Ink. Way to correct
that's
that.
exactly right. All right, Ink, we turn it over to you. We need our motivation for the week, brother. We appreciate you.
My guys, man, I'm going to start us off with 2 quote cards. The first one reads, talking about our problems is our greatest addiction. Break the habit, start talking about peace, joy, and happiness. The second one reads, continuous improvement is better than delayed perfection. And so I was speaking to some athletes, man, a couple of days ago, and I was talking about expectant belief and trusting your process, trusting your work, right? Enjoying the totality of what you're working toward and what you're trying to accomplish. And so one of the guys asked me, say, hey, Ink, what's the difference between an athlete being arrogant and an athlete having a certain level of belief? I said, well, I believe arrogance ties into entitlement, right? You show up and you just think you're going to win. You show up and you just feel as if you're entitled to certain things because you're a part of an organization, you're part of a team, whatever the case may be. I said, now, when you got a level of expectant belief, you're trusting your process, you're trusting your work, you're trusting the sacrifices, you're trusting the dedication. That when you show up, you've worked so hard, you've sacrificed so much, you've dedicated so much, you've committed so much to the person that you're trying to become, the things that you're trying to accomplish, that when it's showtime, you just trust your work, right? And I gave the example about Rocky, right, in Creed, when he had Michael B. Jordan, and Michael B. Jordan came to him and he wanted to box, and his father was Apollo Creed. And Michael B. Jordan said to Rocky, man, I want to box. I've been knocking out cats in underground gyms in Mexico. I've been getting it done. Rocky was like, nah, I don't think you're ready for it. I don't think you know what comes with it, right? Michael B. Jordan showed up the next day. Hey, man, I want to box. I want to do this. Rocky was like, nah, I don't think you're ready for it, right? And the next day, Michael B. Jordan showed up. Rocky said to him, I don't think you're ready for it. Michael B. Jordan was like, yeah, I want to do it. And Rocky said to him, yeah, but your father died in the ring, right? As talented as he was, as strong as he was, the skill set that he had, your father passed away in this ring. So I don't think you know what comes with it. Michael B. Jordan listened to him. Donnie, he showed up the next day. He said, I want to do it. And the first day that Rocky took him to a boxing gym, he walked him past the ring. And when he walked him past the ring, Michael B. Jordan, whose name was Donnie in the movie, he said, hey, man, I want to get in the ring. I want an opponent, man. I want to box against somebody. I want to show off my skills. And Rocky was like, nah, you're not ready for that yet. And he took him to a mirror. And when he took him to the mirror, he said, throw your jab, throw your hook, throw your uppercut, work your move. And when he stopped throwing his punches, Rocky looked at him and said, now tell me, what do you see? Michael B. Jordan said, I see me. He said, great, get familiar with that person, because that will be your toughest opponent, both inside the ring and outside of the ring. And so every single day in the things we're pursuing and the things we're trying to accomplish, get familiar with who you are as a person, because we're all going to encounter adversity, opposition, challenges, ups and downs, successes, failures, and we have to appreciate the totality of every part of the process, because it's not about just what we acquire. It's about the people that we're becoming. Stay safe, keep grinding, keep loving. Peace.